You try to holler at a chick and she ain't give you a number. You big forehead ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? You're overweight anyway. You know what I'm saying? Your weave look like you bought some cheap dollar store weave, or you know what I mean? You try to, but that was the same chick number you was trying to get. So you try to convince yourself that this woman ain't attractive. You know what I'm saying? Or you was trying to a lot of people who used to be trying to blow up in music and shit. They'd be like, man, all this rapping shit is dumb. Man, all this rapping shit. But that's because they used to be wanting to rap and shit. You know what I'm saying? But it seems so unachievable that they started disrespect it in a way to convince themselves that they don't need to fuck with that shit. You know what I mean? And show so to everybody watching from the Hood Conservative channel, make sure you hit the motherfucking like, hit the motherfucking share. You know what I'm saying? Don't spill your coffee whilst you're doing it. If you're feeling generous, tip the motherfucking host. We got Sugar Bum early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? And Michelle, I think Michelle trying to say something. What's up, Michelle? Michelle, let's get a song.
I'm still listening at the moment.
Okay. There we go. Loud and clear. Yeah, we hear you. You coming in loud and clear. All right, I'm about to play some more of this video.
The interviewer was unfair. When people can't get what they want, they often tell themselves it isn't what they wanted anyway. When people don't want to follow through on something, they often find new beliefs to rationalize the action to fit the first belief. You think all rich people are greedy and evil, but you also want to be rich. The dissonance leads to discomfort, mental stress, and anxiety.
This is the one right here. Take the wheel, Jesus. This is the one right here. You think all rich people are evil, but you want to be rich. Damn. You think rich people are evil, but you want to be rich. You know what I'm saying? You wonder why some people hate on people with money. You know what I'm saying? But they want to have money. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Shows out the A-Dub in the building with a $2 holler. He says support for the StreamYard. Appreciate you, A-Dub, for keeping the motherfucking lights on. You know, bandits, we don't got no motherfucking money.
Bandits don't got no damn money.
Hey, don't be blowing me up, nigga. I ain't getting up. If it ain't about the money, ain't no use to you. Ringing my line, stop wasting my time.
I need more money.
I need more money. We need a little more money.
Better, you tell yourself that the job was no good anyway, or that the interviewer was unfair. When people can't get what they want, they often tell themselves it isn't what they wanted anyway. When people don't want to follow through on something, they often find new beliefs to rationalize the action to fit the first belief. You think all rich people are greedy and evil, but you also want to be rich. The dissonance leads to discomfort, mental stress, and anxiety. If the dissonance grows more intense, it can lead to depression. If you notice dissonance, you can ask yourself, what are the two beliefs that are competing and are incompatible? Am I telling myself this new belief because I couldn't get what I wanted? Or is this new belief because I need an excuse to explain away my first belief?
I ain't gonna hold you. I think sometimes it is, look, I think sometimes cognitive dissonance could be healthy though. What y'all think? Yeah, I think that shit could be. You think
It's
now?
a sign of no. It's a sign of things being improper. That's like saying pain is healthy. Pain is their body telling you that something is deeply wrong.
But couldn't you say that that's like a type of mental reprogramming? It's like you trying
Well, in
to.
that sense, maybe yeah.
It's like you was trying to be a Let's go back to the let's say you was trying to be I don't know, a fucking you was trying to be a professional basketballer, right? But after you reach a certain age, you see that shit ain't happening. So you could to me, cognitive dissonance is like on an extreme level, but I think on a more subtle level, you could like reprogram yourself to not seek out that shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could be a coach or something. You could still do what you love, but you don't, because is a bunch of is not one road to I forgot what's the saying, you know what I'm saying? But it's not one road to your destination. It's several roads. Even if you put it in your GPS, you could say you want to go the route without the expressways. You want to drive local. It's different roads to get to the
I
same
think
place.
I think the basketball thing is it's a bad analogy for cognitive dissonance in that you have to accept your physical limitations, right? Accepting the physical reality of the world is basic human behavior. I don't think that's quite cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, to kind of keep it in your frame, is to
Mm.
play basketball all your life and find out that there was never a professional league or something like that. Like it really shatters your identity as a ball player. Like, what's the point of playing ball if there was
No,
no future to it?
the cognitive dissonance is you leaning into the opposite direction of what you was trying to achieve. So they were trying to
We
achieve
gotta
basketball, but because in the
pull up a
examples they
definition
give,
before we both get too far out of bounds. Maybe we're both off. Let's pull up an objective definition and like in this part.
all right, let me pull it up because we did had it earlier, right? Cognitive dissonance, right, is the mental discomfort experienced when a person holds two or more conflicting beliefs, right, or attitudes or values, right? And okay, is the mental discomfort experienced when a person holds two or more conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes, or when their beliefs are contradicted by their actions? You know what I'm saying? It's like you saying it's like one like how they say you want to be rich, but you saying rich people are evil. You know what I'm saying? You want to get you
Exactly.
want so it's like you're trying to convince you. It's like you're trying to demonize the thing that you can't have. Is like a way to make yourself comfortable with not having it.
I
You know what I'm saying?
remember having this conversation with a homeboy a long time ago because he used to be talking this, white people stuff. You can't get ahead, and I'm like,
Mm.
bro, if you can't get ahead in this life, why are me and you spending? Why are we working so hard trying to get rich? If you're gonna sit here and tell me in my face you can't get ahead, like that's the cognitive dissonance.
Right. It's like you leaning towards you. It's like you want something, but you demonizing it so you could feel comfortable not having it yet, while still working towards the shit. You know what I mean?
Can I give another example
Go, go ahead,
that
creative.
most people could kind of relate to? So
What's
you
up?
ever like I remember when I was in my 20s, I got approached by a whole bunch of MLMs, right? They
Mm,
tell you, oh, you could do it. And they get everybody in this room and then they convince you that you could do it. They tell you could do it. But then in the back of your mind, right? They telling you could do it, but you're like, how the fuck do I do it? I never seen it done before. But the people they're doing it. So it's like you have to go against your own belief system to believe their belief system, but it's
mm.
hard for you to get there because you don't know if it's possible. So that's another thing of cognitive dissonance that people fight with.
Creative.
Yeah.
You were walking into a scam, and one of the hardest ways to like defeat a scam, the scams work on your own individual greed and weakness. And so
Mm.
you kind of have to be stronger than your own weakness to get out of that. And so it's like your mind is trying to warn you about something that's off here, and you have to be able to listen to that sometime and pull yourself away from the thing that's luring you into a trap. Because I've been approached about with pyramid schemes and things like that, and it sounds really really good, but that's your weakness trying to just lead you into a trap. But your mind wants to
You
warn
know
you
what?
about these things, and that's what the cognitive
It could
dissonance
be,
is. It's
I
your mind trying
understand
to
the hood
warn you.
story, but it could be any job that you want to do. That's something that's out of the ordinary. That was
Mm.
just an example, you know. It's basically you
So
have
wait a
to
minute.
fight
So
against
the
your
cognitive,
beliefs.
so the cognitive dissonance, right, is actually and I think we are kind of we all had it, but we didn't. None of us hit the nail on the hammer, right? The cognitive dissonance is the uncomfortable feeling. It's not an action of. It's not an act of doing something that's contradicting, right? Is the uncomfortable feeling you get when you do it. So it's like the example they gave is like you know drinking is bad, or alcohol is bad but you still drinking, or smoking is bad and you still smoking, or you saying women is bad, you know what I'm saying, or men is evil but you still in the space, You know what I'm saying? Conversating with men and women. You know what I mean? That, but the uncomfortable feeling you got while you contradicting yourself, that is the
Well,
cognitive
I,
dissonance.
since you broke the scab, let me go there. Like cognitive dissonance for me was
Mm.
like the red pill thing. What if they don't actually mean any of the words they say? Like that's the cognitive dissonance for me as far as like men and women. What if women are never telling the truth about anything? Like that's a serious cognitive dissonance, you know?
Mm. Okay. Shout out to Crazy Uncle A Bomb. He said, "Epic as always. I appreciate you for the support." That's on Hood side. That's on Hood conservative side. You know what I'm saying? Let's play a little bit more of this. I want to hear the out of mind traps.
What actions can I take to change my behavior or mindset and eliminate the dissonance? Because when it comes to cognitive dissonance, you can play the clever fox all you want, but you'll never get the grapes that way. The spotlight effect. You arrive 5 minutes late to the office and you feel like everyone is judging you. It's your first day at the gym and you feel like everyone is watching you. You spill a small amount.
Oh shit, this is the one. I thought that one was the one. My bad. I said that one was the one. This is the one right here. I know y'all felt this before, especially when you high, especially when you smoke that Zaza. You feel like everybody is watching you. Everybody at the gas station is looking you. They know you did some shit. You know what I mean?
You
Or
be
if you
feeling
did,
paranoid after you smoke?
I used to when I was younger. Like I'm
Oh,
grown, so
that's
I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown. I don't care. Even when I'm sober, people think I'm high because I got like long
Nah, you
dreadlocks. So
know,
I don't give a fuck.
what when people speak a foreign language, I always think they're talking about me. They're saying something bad about me. That's why I gotta learn foreign languages just to make sure there ain't nobody talking shit behind my back.
You know what? That is crazy. Cause when I go around, cause I got a lot of Mexican friends, right? But when I go around their peoples and everybody start talking Spanish, I start getting a little uncomfortable. Cause I, you know what I mean?
No, no bullshit. Like, yo, listen, I gotta learn some Spanish to make sure y'all niggas ain't tripping.
I don't understand Spanish, but if I'm talking to somebody from any language, I could communicate with them to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how, but it just happens. Like, you know what I mean? But it gotta be one on one. But if two people having a conversation and they ain't talk and I'm not in the conversation, it's harder for me to understand. Whereas if me and somebody talking to each other or trying to talk to each other, I'll understand more than I guess it's because we trying to make each other understand. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of body language that'll make up for it too. But I think I know just enough Spanish to not get kidnapped in Mexico. But other than that, it's
Right,
you
right,
gotta
right.
learn some words.
I know enough to get by and to get to where I need to get to and shit like that. But as far as having a full fledged detailed conversation, I'm about to be zoning out. All
But
right,
now
let's
I was
see.
just talking about that whole thing, and like you just assume things sometimes that it's a crazy belief, right? But and I'm being honest, but it's a crazy thought that we have. Sometimes you just think you're the center of the what do they call it, main character syndrome, right?
Main
Like I know
character.
you're not talking about me, but I think you probably are, though. I can't help but thinking you are.
You notice that's why in the four agreements, the first agreement is don't take shit personal because I think that's like natural for us to take shit personal because we seen shit from our own person. So how we gonna take this shit? You know what I'm saying? We got you know what I mean? But the thing is, we forget that everybody else could we the main character in our own movie, but we forget that everybody else is the main character in their movie too. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
what
It's
if
your
all
first
of
day at
our
the
lives
gym and you
together
feel
is this one big movie? Then, like, think about it. If all of our lives together is one big movie, nobody's the main character.
But
Can
low
I say
key,
something?
low key,
So we
though.
all
Wait
quote.
a minute. Low key, that's what it is. Low on the lowest of key, bro. That's what it is. None of us is the main character. The main character is our collective self. We just
I
smaller
think it's
selves of that we just smaller selves of that collective selves. You know what I'm saying? That collective self, that's life or nature or whatever we want to call it, or God or whatever you want to call it. That is the main character, you know what I'm saying? But we all just having individual spin-offs, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we the main characters in our spin-off, but we not the main characters, you know what I mean?
Can I say one thing? I think we all co-create together because you know, DJ Witchdoctor could be like, "Oh, I'm looking for some guests for my show that's entertaining. I need new flavors." And I could be here in my subconscious mind, maybe co-create with DJ Consciousness that pulls me to his channel, or Hood Conservative, or Young Wise, or Michelle, right? It's
Right.
all pulling each other to co-create together. Or I could be looking for a client, and that client is looking for an agent, and I could co-create with that person. So whatever wants us, you know, whatever we want wants us also.
And she didn't say procreate, she said co-create, but
I said
procreating
co-create.
but procreation is co-creation, because the man and the woman come together and they co-create.
I
you know
said
what I'm saying?
co.
No, you said co-create, but I'm telling her procreate is co-creation too, you know what I'm saying? Because two people come together, you know what I mean? It's co.
Yeah. It's an accidental symmetry. You're both right.
Let's run the tape.
Feel like everyone is watching you. You spill a small amount of sauce on your shirt, and you feel so embarrassed because you think the whole party is going to notice. The spotlight effect is the phenomenon in which people tend to believe people are observing them more than they are. People are seldom interested in you and your actions as much as you think. So do yourself a favor, stop overestimating how much people are observing you, and reduce the anxiety that is probably just the result of the spotlight effect.
And this is what happens to a lot of people who got like social anxiety. They believe that when they out and about, everybody's staring at them and judging their every move and shit. Then they start becoming too self-conscious and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Wait, so Witchdoctor, is there called sensory overload when you that type of thing? Like basically, when you overstimulate your mind, kind of gets you to that point. Kind of called sensory overload when you're around your surroundings, you're taking too much information, and you know you overload because you have too much information in your brain because your eyes is basically sending information to your brain, and that's what it is.
Okay.
The anchoring effect. Whenever we have to guess something, let's say the population of Russia, we use anchors, starting with something we know for sure to be true, so it must be greater than 1, must be less than 7 billion, and is less than the population of China. We then take these anchors and explore the unfamiliar territory. Unfortunately, we use anchors when we don't need to.
Wait. Y'all get what he's saying? The anchoring effect?
Yeah, when I was in high school, I had a logic class, right? So it's like the mathematical approach to logic, and there was a theorem that it kind of applies to everything in life. If A, then B. If this, then that, right? Because almost nothing exists in a vacuum. If one thing is, if you can definitively look at one thing, then there's also something else that thing has to rest upon, right? If A, then B. It's a basic logic theorem that the whole world kind of rests on.
Whenever we have to guess something, let's say the population of Russia, we use anchors, starting with something we know for sure to be true, so it must be greater than 1, must be less than 7 billion, and is less than the population of China. We then take these anchors and explore the unfamiliar territory. Unfortunately, we use anchors when we don't need to. Take a moment to pause and look at these two questions. Is the height of the tallest redwood tree more or less than 1,200 feet? What is your best guess about the height of the tallest redwood? If we ask Group A these two questions and Group B these two questions, we would consistently get very different answers because of the anchoring effect. The words and numbers we use anchors people's decisions. But the anchoring effect doesn't only apply to numbers that appear informative, such as in the tree example. According to Kahneman, anchors that are obviously random can be just as effective as potentially informative anchors. An experiment was conducted on German judges with an average of 15 years experience. Each judge was read a description of a woman who had been shoplifting, then asked to roll a pair of dice, which were loaded to only add up to 3 or 9. As soon as the dice stopped, they were asked to answer how long they would sentence this woman. The judges who rolled a 9, on average, gave her an 8-month sentence. The judges who rolled a 3, on average, gave her a 5-month sentence. The researchers found that the anchoring effect was influencing their judgments.
Yo, that is wild. You understand that shit though, right? Like an
Isn't
anchoring
that
effect.
happening today?
Hell yeah. It's
I'm gonna
like
say
you
this with a lot. I was gonna say with a lot of black men, I see a lot of them walk around like they have to be this type of prototype. They have to live up to that image. I'm for real. And then when you talk to
so you
them, it
okay.
doesn't seem like they really want to do it. They just
You
struggling
know
with
what I was
life and their
thinking about?
identity.
I
So
swear,
what you
creative. When
saying?
I was
What
thinking
you
about the
saying?
show earlier,
Wait a minute. I'm trying to figure out. So you're saying that the stereotype of the black man, right, is what a lot of black men use to anchor themselves. Like they try to yeah, you understand what I mean? Like like the image of the stereotypical image of a black man. You think that's what black
Yeah.
men are using to anchor
Some
themselves?
of them, yeah, like smoking weed, dressing this type of way, having this type of car. They try to emulate that, you know?
well,
Mm.
think about the logic theorem. It's A, then B, right? It's black, then thug. It's black man, then
Bruh, fuck
nigga.
the fuck
This,
on.
this
I'm
is
not
this is
saying all
but
black
no,
men,
This shit ain't
okay?
got nothing to
this is
do.
kind of
Because you
this
can
is
say it
literally
for
what she
black
just
women
explained
too.
to you.
It goes for both.
Nah,
She
she's
just
saying that
explained
the
it to you, but
stereotype is like an anchor, like you like is like a
right,
it's like you
and
use
there's a
that as a
logic
base
to the
point.
anchor. And there's a logic to it, is what I'm explaining to you. It's almost mathematical. It's A, then B. And so, therefore, because I'm a black man, I am supposed to behave in these ways. It's A, then B. She just described it for you. And it's not really
Why
like,
do
it's
you
not a shock. It's not even a
wait a
dig. It's
minute?
just the way
You
things
know it's
are.
crazy. You know it's crazy. Yeah, to me it sounds to me like I think black is synonymous to being a thug. And I think that most black men try to emulate being a thug.
I think a
You know
lot of
what
black men
Good.
do emulate being a thug because a lot of people do think it is synonymous. They think it's A, then B. Yes, they do think that. I don't know if creative believes that. I don't believe it, but we're observing reality.
I mean?
I've seen it play out, and I've seen them go to good jobs, and then when they offer working hours, they doing this and they doing that, and they not structure, and then you be like, what the
What if they
hell?
ghost? What if they ghost from power? You know what I'm saying? What if they? You know what I mean?
Well, again,
I
that
don't
is a
know.
perfect
But you know
stereotype,
what though?
I
exactly what
just
she's
be
talking
like, I
about.
just be
But you know what
amazed.
though? I understand what she's saying though, because I see the same thing.
Let me
Because
let
I
me point
see a
something
lot of
out.
people. Because I see a lot of people. The majority of people who try to emulate being street and and exaggerating, it be people that is not from that life that got good family and good background and shit. Because in the hood,
Yes.
Typical,
because in the
typical.
because in the hood,
Yes,
most people.
DJ. Yes.
Look at this. In the hood, most people is not criminals, and most people in the hood is not hard or tough or none of that shit. It's the same, like cause I live in the hood. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up in the hood. You know what I
Almost.
mean? But I ain't just no hood people, and I ain't just live. I only live in hoods. I live in. I remember I was living in what you call it, in Sandy Springs and shit down here in Georgia and shit before. You know what I'm saying? But the thing what people don't realize, in the suburbs and the hood, it got the same archetypes, the same different type of people. It's just people. It's just one people. It's just your environment. This environment is it got some people, and this environment don't got some people. It's tough people in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? It's like probably some sort of jock or some. You know what I mean? Some sort of football. Some it's bullies everywhere.
Let me point something out to you. Now in Ghost, I mean in Power, right? Ghost wanted to go straight. It was Tasha who resented him for wanting to go straight. She hated that shit. She wanted to be the track queen forever, right? Now,
Mm,
when creators first started talking, you know, the first thing I thought about, and I was researching this early because I was putting a whole show together. Um,
mm,
Popular song lyrics from like 20 years ago. If his status ain't a hood, I ain't checking for him. Gotta be street if he looking at me. I need a soldier,
But you know
one
though,
who's gonna stand up for me. He gotta be good hood and he gotta be street.
Wait,
but
can I?
you know,
You know, play
but you know
song.
though, that is crazy, bro. Because there's women that don't want niggas that is street, but the thing is, them niggas want the look. This is what I be saying. A lot of niggas want Cardi B to be, you know what I'm saying, a wifey type chick. Niggas want the chicks that wanted a
On it.
hood niggas. A lot of niggas want the women that want the hood niggas, right? And then they try to be a hood nigga so they could get them types of chicks, bro.
Oh wait, can I say something, please?
There's other women that don't require you to be on some. There's some women that if you ain't got a job, they ain't gonna fuck with you. You know what I'm saying?
Wait,
You know what I mean?
sir, can I say something, please?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was gonna say basically the character of the Shannon Top Boy, though it is, though he wanted to make it out. When he made it out, though, right? He has this big brother complex, though, because he's the older guy in the hood and stuff like that, in London, stuff like that, right? Basically, though, he has this big brother complex where he's rich and stuff like that. When he became rich, though, he became more selfish, and basically, the more and more selfish he became and self-centered, and when he started to lose everything, he literally lost control of himself. Because before, when it happened to him before, he had Sully, he had the Top Boy crew, and everything like that. When he lost one by one in that time, though, basically, he always found a way to be calculating. So it's similar to Ghost in a way, but the difference is, though, is basically once he lost everything, he literally lost himself. Though he literally smashed that guy's head in because he literally threatened. Normally he's smart, but eventually though he became so selfish. He didn't care about cleaning up that mess he made before when he used to be smart and everything. And pretty much by the time, you know, by the end and stuff like that, he literally robbed his own homeboy though, because they both split and stuff like that, because he needed to escape because he was wanted. And after that though, pretty much though, Sully literally took him out. And after that though, the chain ended up alone, with nobody.
Mm.
So basically, he has his big brother complex though with Sully, where basically he says though he can't handle that fact, that he
All right,
wanted to be the big bro. That's it.
okay. All right, and that's in the show Top Boys.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the
Yeah, let's
let's get back
continue.
to the, get back to the clip. You know what I mean?
Okay, please
Numerous
do.
other studies using arbitrary numbers like the last digits of phone numbers or social security numbers also confirmed our anchoring bias. In sales and negotiations, anchors are being used all the time, and there will be people who are willing and able to set up this mind trap and exploit the anchoring effect against you. The car salesman setting a high price from the start so that the price that he actually wants to get from you seems like a good deal. The $150 dress at the front of the store sets the anchor for the $50 dress at the back of the store. Online stores, salary negotiations, and real estate deals are all playgrounds for the anchoring effect. And it's one of our most powerful biases. You can't turn it off, but you can remind yourself of your vulnerability to it and try to proactively set your own mental anchors before going into any sales or negotiation environment. Take a look at these examples. Let's say I want to sell my book. You can get my online course for $1,999, or you can get my book for just $15. I anchor you to the higher price first, so that the price of my book seems like a bargain.
You know what I'm saying? You see what that nigga just did, bro? You know what I mean? It's like, bro, I'll be watching a lot of marketing stuff, right? And when you get, and show so to the most hated, most underrated bronze motherfucking flat power in the building, right? Sometimes in marketing, bro, like this one dude was saying, you always got to make sure you keep your most expensive product. You got to have a high expensive product in your store, and you got to keep that shit in the front of the store as soon as people walk in and shit. You know what I'm saying? And you could have other stuff out there. Maybe your most expensive shit in the top product that you selling. But once people see that expensive shit, all the other products that they buying, they're not gonna be tripping on the price like that because they comparing it. They already anchor it to that forest price that they seen. They just walk in your store and you got a sweater for like 2 racks for the sweater. You know what I'm saying? Now you could probably sell them a pair of sneakers for $500
Let
because
me
that
tell
shit.
you, sales and marketing is another way to black pill yourself in terms of like the human condition,
Mm,
because most people want to believe that we're all incredibly bright and intelligent. We all make sharp decisions and all that, but Madison Avenue has you figured out. I promise you. The people who make commercials and shit, they have you figured out. So
mm.
when you get into sales and you realize how people are actually very manipulatable, like that's not a word, but the people are easy to manipulate when you understand basic triggers and things. And a lot of sales just works on that, like you just described it. I put the high ticket in front of you so I can soften the blow with the thing that I sell. I sell a million of these things every day. And if I put the high thing in front of you, it's almost a lock that I'm going to sell this other crap to you now, because you're not going to buy the expensive thing. But this thing right here, this looks like your friend compared to that thing. Like the way the people's brains work, it's been kind of studied enough that it's almost a science to itself now.
It is because you know why, and that's why we was talking yesterday about stepping outside of your human. You know what I'm saying? If you could step outside of your human and see human as a different thing, then you could do shit like that, bro. Not like you literally not gonna be a human no more. It's just that you broaden in your perspective. You know what I mean? Knowing that humans is social creatures, right? You know what I mean? And we look at and we prone to groupthink because we social creatures. Not it's not just humans, even dogs. This is why we could train dogs like that, because dogs is social creatures. Like most creatures that is social, you could literally do shit like social engineering. You know what I'm saying? You could literally do like mass mind control. Look at cows, look at cattle and shit. You know what I'm saying? Even a dog could manipulate the whole crowd of cattle and shit, because like the most social creatures is easy to manipulate them. You know what I'm saying? We're not just social creatures, but you could manipulate them in a similar way. You know what I'm saying? Because they social creatures
Your
and they
your
move.
basic your basic dog training techniques work exactly the same on humans, especially young children.
Mm. What you mean?
Sit, stay, speak.
I mean, look at this. To me, you know what I would say? The training, like reward and punishment. That's what I would say. Is similar with dog training, all animal training. You know what I'm saying? Even human training, reward and punishment. Like that's one of the most basic way to like train people. You know what I'm saying? Or train
You know, it
anything.
sounds it sounds offensive because I'm comparing us to dogs, but we learn this we learn this through training animals, and then somebody eventually realized, well, animals aren't that far apart from humans. I bet you the stuff I do to train animals will work on people, and then we found out it works too.
Mm. Shows to the studio. He said dogs domesticated. They've adapted to coexist. Yeah, even there's other creatures that are even cats. You know what I'm saying? Cats. You know what I mean? I think we domesticate dogs though. Like we
I
domesticate
don't know. I
them.
feel like cats are way less domestic than dogs are. Cats have whole outside careers and shit. Dogs
Right,
need
right.
you. Cats just like you.
Yeah, dogs are definitely more domesticated. You know what I mean? Anchoring songs like fraud. Anchoring is not fraud. It's more like it's more like persuasion. It's still manipulation, but I don't know if it's fraud because it's like you're still doing it on your own. It's just that somebody guiding you to do this shit. You know what I mean?
If I wanted to sell my course, on the other hand, I would need to find a better anchor. It costs $135,000 to go to college and learn the same things I'm going to teach you.
All right, I'm gonna fast forward to the other one. This one is Oh, that's an intermission. My bad. There we go.
The halo effect.
This one is called the halo effect.
What do you think about Alan and Ben? Alan is intelligent, industrious, impulsive, critical, stubborn, and envious. Ben is envious, stubborn, critical, impulsive, industrious, and intelligent. If you're like most people, you see Alan in a better light than you do Ben, even though the traits mentioned are exactly the same. When it comes to the halo effect, sequence matters. More weight is given to the first piece of information we receive. The first piece of information helps us quickly create a story of the person or situation in our minds. Sure, Alan is stubborn and envious, but that is only because he is intelligent and wants to win in business. And yes, Ben is intelligent, but he uses that intelligence in envious ways. The halo effect occurs when a single initial aspect of a person or thing determines and affects or outshines how we see the full picture. When you first start dating someone, both parties in the relationship are on their best behavior. You start to develop a halo of positive thoughts around this person. Small traits you dislike might begin to pop up, but often go unnoticed because the halo, the positive emotions, and the initial information you gathered on this person is blinding out any of the negatives. The honeymoon phase of a relationship is often when the halo effect influences your judgment the most.
So y'all understand what the halo effect is? I think it's kind of like I think dude, this video he's kind of over explaining it. I think the halo effect is when you attribute mostly good shit to somebody. Let me see. Let me just check it and make sure we're not saying no wrong shit, right? Halo effect, simple definition.
Well, the basic concept is like, all women are wonderful or all children are innocent, right? Life will tell you that some women are crazy. And you ever see Macaulay Culkin in The Good Son? That was a great like movie explaining how, every now and then
Right,
a kid
right,
can
right.
just be evil for inexplicable reasons. A kid can be evil.
And I was right. It was is when you attribute one good quality that you know about somebody to them being good in everything. It's like, let's say I know you a good speaker. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna assume that you just good at all that shit just because that's the first piece of information I got about you. That's my first perception of you. So you attribute, or let's say I'm generous. You know what I'm saying? You might not assume that I'm on some whole other fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? I might have somebody tied up in the basement. You know what I'm saying? But you're not gonna think that. You'd be like, nah,
Well,
he's a generous. But being generous don't got nothing with doing with tying
we
somebody up in
we
the
we
basement.
we assume children are innocent, right? But the other day there was an incident in Chicago where like all these little middle school kids jumped this lady and her son, and
Mm,
that's not even the worst type of thing I've seen because like there's another story out of maybe that Chicago area, I'm not sure, but it's the Midwest.
mm.
A 9-year-old boy and another kid maybe, but I know a 9-year-old boy has been arrested for like a horrible like sexual assault on a young girl. And the question now becomes, when did that 9-year-old kid stop being innocent?
You know this thing? Kids are innocent in certain ways, but that don't means that all kids are innocent in all ways. And that's the same thing right here as the halo effect. That's a good example. But because kids are innocent, meaning like they might be naive to certain shit that they ain't exposed to as yet because they kids, they ain't had to pay bills, and so certain shit of the world they might not know as yet. But that don't mean that they're gonna be innocent in everything. That don't mean they're incapable of doing crazy wild shit. You know what I mean?
If we learn that someone graduated from a prestigious university, the halo effect will distort all other traits we attribute to that person.
There you go. If we think somebody graduates from a university, we assume that they just smart. You know what I'm saying? They might be just smart in the subjects that they graduated with. But I know there's niggas that got degrees and a crackhead would run circle around these niggas,
Ooh,
right? A
I got a
crackhead from the
story for
street.
you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. So on this same YouTube, I met this crazy chick, right, who got on YouTube. And she would talk so properly, had a very good vocabulary that people really thought that she was smart and she was this higher upper and she was all of this and she was all of that.
Oh,
And turn around at the end of the day, basically she was hired by YouTube to be a YouTube flagger to flag people's channels down.
oh
So
shit.
yeah,
Wait,
real.
do
This
we
is
know?
real
Do I know
talk.
her? Do we know her? Do I know her?
No, you probably don't know her.
Mm.
But basically, yeah, she would flag you people's channels down, and people would always gravitate towards her because she has the gift of gab because she could talk so properly. But behind closed doors, she's doing a whole bunch of messed up stuff, and nobody would say it's her.
Mm. That's crazy. That's diabolical. You might gotta post her name. Is it hot to say her name? Could you post it in the private chat or at least? You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
put in
That's
the private
crazy.
chat.
Without any evidence. Bernie Madoff was the darling of Wall Street, a legendary investor. The amazing returns and reputation of his company were the halo that made people also conclude his company must be trustworthy. The halo outshone the numbers that made no sense and the underlying fact that he was running the biggest Ponzi scheme in history. Numerous studies have shown that attractive people are automatically perceived as nicer, more honest, and more intelligent. The halo effect can also be found in schools. If a student answers 2 essay questions and the teacher gives the first essay a high grade, he or she is prone to subconsciously give that more weight and give the second essay a higher grade also, and vice
Hey, real
versa
quick,
for
you should
low
stop for a
grades.
second. I hate to point this out, but I think there is a slight correlation, maybe in the slightest. Like, I don't think extreme beauty correlates, but
Mm.
there is a correlation between attraction and intelligence. Uglier people are not always bright either. I just happen to notice some people are as
Wait,
dumb as
wait,
they
wait,
look.
wait, wait, wait. You say uglier people are not always bright. That is
I don't
crazy.
even want to. I don't even want to crouch it as ugly. But there are people who are just dumb as they look, and I can't get. I can't get away from
That
that. Like
is,
stupid
that is,
does have a look, bro. I
that
swear to
is.
God, some
Wait
people
a minute.
you
You
just
gotta give
you
an
just look at
example.
them and
You
know.
gotta
He's
give
just
an
You
example.
can
mean.
just
Like,
look at
come
some
on.
people and know, bro. I swear to God, I just look
Hood,
at some people
hood.
and know
You
that
gotta
nigga is
give.
not
You
right.
gotta give. You gotta give us like 4 consistent examples.
It's hard because there's no celebrities that we would all recognize in that way. But like, I've just encountered people in my
Give me
life
two.
that
Give me two.
I've looked in my eye.
Give me some
Like,
examples in this space.
for
So
example,
let's
this
let
is a
peace come
common
online
thing.
to the building.
Almost every hood has that big crazy nigga, bro. Where he's bigger than the average, but if you look him in the eye, you know he retarded.
You gotta give me like 2 examples. You know what I'm saying? Two
I don't know
examples.
examples that we can share together. This is just in life. I've noticed that there is a look to stupid.
I mean, there might be a look to certain type of mental you know what I'm saying, mental disability. Some people might have
I
certain
don't
type.
even mean. I'm not even going that far. I just mean plain stupid.
Nah, I don't know about that shit. I think stupidity coming out. I know hella attractive chicks that is kind of, on the slower side of the fence. You know what I'm saying?
I
I
get
can.
that. Listen,
And
attractive
plus
people can be
in
slow.
school, plus remember in school, right? A lot of the chicks that had their head in their books, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't caring about their looks and shit like that. They glowed up till later on in life and shit, you know what I'm saying? You know,
No,
when they
that's a little bit more like physical, like cosmetic appearance. I'm just talking about the way their face looks. Just the reality of your face. I can look in your face and tell you're troubled.
yeah. And shows to the free the green in the building. What's up, peace of my mind? What do you have to add to the conversation? You believe this? You believe what this dude is saying that ugly people are stupid? You know what I'm saying? That you got a certain look to
I don't want to
stupidity.
use ugly though, because ugly isn't quite what I'm getting at. But there is a look though. It's not just an ugly thing per se. Although it tends to correlate. Yeah.
Mm,
So some people who have developmental or cognitive delays, they do have a look to them. And it's not to, be mean or anything, but
mm,
sometimes it has to do with the neckline, the eyes may be closer or farther apart, lips, and it just depends on, what their, I guess, diagnosis may be. And
mm,
sometimes again, they may not have a diagnosis. Like you said, stupid does have a look. And sometimes when people open their mouth, it's like, okay, you confirmed it for me. But I also wanted to, I'm sorry, is it okay if I go back maybe 5 minutes to what you guys were talking about?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, you guys were talking about, being from the hood and, how that can be detrimental to someone's mental health in the discussion you were having earlier. Is it okay if I follow up on that conversation?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so with that, being from the hood is not a badge of honor, and we have this thing. It's within our music, it's within our culture, where we always have something to prove, and that something to prove is usually by, I guess, how much trauma you can endure, which usually
Mhm.
from being from the hood, right? But I think we need to. Well, hopefully, we can start moving away from that, and just because you're from the hood, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It's like, well, what kind of hood do you come from? Do you come from a hood that is unified, that look out for one another? It doesn't always have to be O Block. And um sorry, I lost my train of thought. But
Nah,
I
but I see what you're
Can
saying.
I say something to that?
Why you think, and why you think is why you think that is? Why you think like enduring trauma is like a badge of honor? Like you think it's some like slavery shit? What is that about?
I do think that for some reason we want to be as closely connected to the slaves and what they did back in the day. Um so bad, and we do it with any, like, we haze each other in this world
Mm.
pretty, and it's crazy. It's like, why can't you just be a functional human being? Everything does not have to be a catastrophe. Every sad story does not have to be a somber. I mean, every story doesn't have to be a sad story or a somber story. You can get through this world without being traumatized if you utilize your mind right. And if first of all, you got to know who you are. You got to know how to navigate through, through the time, and that's
You think
difficult.
that's an exclusively black thing? Don't you think people of other races got their own versions of that shit where most people try to be on the edgier side
They
of
like the punk, because now you have with the white people, you have, they skateboard kids. They are, but even they started acting like Little Wayne, or it got kind of different for a minute. But uh, being from the hood, that usually comes with some type of violence.
mm.
So, and that's the part where it's like, okay, yeah, you can be from the hood, but are you really proud of? I mean, again, it can depend on what hood you come from, but are you really proud of that? Like, what's so good about being from the hood? And if you make it out, don't go back.
You say if you make it out, don't go back.
Go back. Because you don't owe anybody anything. They'll eat you alive. You go back, because there's this thing that when I say make it out, it's like, well, I mean, all you had to do was go across the street, or I mean, go, maybe a few miles down, or just make better decisions. I don't really think you have to make it out of anything, but our own people, will
So you
say things.
think making it out the hood versus building the hood or building your neighborhood? Because you know what I'm saying. A lot of people yeah. What do you think about it? Leaving the hood versus building it up.
So if you're not a part of the problem, you're a part. If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. A lot of people aren't willing to build it up, and usually what happens is you only have one or two people within the neighborhood or community or whatever it is doing everything. I believe in building everything up, but it just doesn't work that way, and it's unfortunate. But you have to have people who are, cohesive and who want to build. You'd be surprised at how many people actually want to destroy or keep things as they are. It's amazing.
Mm.
And you just have to pick and choose. You can still give yourself and contribute to where you can, and that's wherever you go. You just make sure that you're being a decent person. But when you go back to the hood, you have to be very careful, because we just have this thing about each other, and I don't know what it is, but it's like, you left me behind. It's like, no, I came back to get you. I just had to go study for 4 years. You know, um, it can get interesting. Sorry, I'm babbling. I do that.
And go ahead. I think Creative had something to say.
Yeah, I
Go ahead.
wanted to say something. Okay, me remember. Okay, so I think a lot of people talk about trauma and how they came from the hood and they went through this. It's almost like oh, I've been through all of these things, so I acquired this shield. I've been through all of this, so it should make me a little bit stronger.
Mm.
It should make me, because I've been through this. It's same thing like, slavery, or same thing like this. I have this historic sheet that I've been through. I overcame all of this. So I'm strong. It's kind of like you trying to prove yourself or prove something. And I do think you do become stronger if you did go through all those things. But I think
I
I can't, you
disagree.
can't, people can't help where they came from. If you came from the hood, or you came from there, or you came from these circumstances, you can't really help where you came from. You can't help what you went through. All you could do is become better and transcend that and become an example. And
I
that's what
just
I think.
I
If
think
you
I think
got through it, be an example for your cousins, your nephews, be a living example, be a blueprint.
Okay.
I think when it comes to that, like I'm stronger now because I survived it. It's almost like saying because I survived the 4 alarm house fire, I'm stronger now. Like no, you're mutilated now, and everybody can tell you're mutilated. And I don't think people realize that like surviving the hood oftentimes it makes you less likable and less capable of functioning in the larger society. That's really what
I
the
beg
hood
to
does for
differ.
you. It, it,
Yeah, I
it
I
don't
beg
eliminates
to
agree.
you from
I don't
differ.
reality
agree with.
I
sometimes.
beg to
I
differ
don't
because
agree
you're
with that. Hood.
conservative. You acquire a lot of skills by going through the hood, going through poverty. You know
You
how
acquire
much
skills
money you could
outside of the
save.
hood.
You know what you could live on. You know how you can survive with very little that you have. You turn the most little into unlimited possibilities. You see how the universe show up to you. You become more faithful in your
These are
endeavors. So
creative.
that's what I
These
have
are
to say
all
to that. There
these are
is a
What I
all
would
positive.
say,
superpower in going
what
through
I
that.
would say that
These are
that same
positive
thing.
affirmations. These are
But look at this
Facebookisms.
hood. Wait a minute, hood. What I would say to what you was talking about with the fire, you mutilated, yeah, but you gain experience. Like when people say, "Well, don't kill you, make you stronger," even if you got the wounds and shit, you gain experience. And now, if you in a fire again, you less panicky. You are a little bit more equipped than the last time. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you know what I'm saying. Possibly,
DJ, what are we doing, bro? Is surviving the hood was such a positive experience. The people in
bro.
the hood
Wait a
would be
minute. Wait a
warm and
minute.
they'd be warm and
Yeah.
friendly. They'd be happy. They'd be wealthy. They'd be healthy. They'd be less overweight. If it was such a
You
good
could.
thing, the people in it wouldn't want to get out of it.
I'm not saying is it. I'm saying everything got its good and its bad, right? Somebody surviving the hood or getting out of the hood, you know what I'm saying, could inspire other people to get out of the hood. Or somebody could live in the same hood and don't get out of it and achieve good things, and it could inspire people who from that same hood to be like, damn, I ain't just a piece of shit. I could achieve great things. On the flip side, right? On the negative side, right? Surviving the hood could make and celebrating it could make other people romanticize that shit, right? And feel like they gotta go through that shit too. And some of them don't even gotta go through that shit. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, a majority of people don't even gotta go through that shit. But I think romanticizing it could make somebody think that, oh, they gotta do that shit. And that's what I see be going on now. A lot of people might be celebrating surviving some shit, or celebrating still, you know what I'm saying, they still getting money even though certain, you know what I mean, they come from certain circumstances, and other people see that shit and they romanticize that shit and they try to emulate that shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It almost sounds like we talk about the hood like it's a type of boot camp. Like the hood is not Paris Island. You don't survive this
Bro,
shit and
life
come
is
out
a
a
boot
Marine,
camp.
bro.
Bro,
No,
the
no, no, no.
hood is
You
a
do
boot
not
camp. The
survive the hood and
suburbs
come
is a
out a
boot camp.
Marine, bro. We're talking about it like it makes Marines, bro. The hood don't make Marines. It makes retarded people.
Bro, everywhere is your neighborhood. Like when you talking about a hood, you talking about a bad neighborhood, right? But any neighborhood is your the hood is short for neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it,
I'm using the
anywhere you
black
live in
version.
is a
Don't official Oxford
bro.
dictionary me, bro. We're using the black version. Don't do
So
that.
look
Listen to
how
this
many
though,
rappers.
but
Look how
hood
many
conservative,
rappers.
but hood conservative. Anywhere you live in is a school, bro. Life is a school, and you graduate by becoming an adult. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Life is a school. So the hood is a school. The suburbs is a school. Growing up as a military brat moving from place to place, that is
Clown
still a
college?
school,
Is clown college a college, DJ?
bro. Childhood is a school.
There's a college for clowns, DJ. Is clown college college?
I don't know about clown college. I don't. That's
It's a
your
school,
education. I
nigga.
don't know.
No, but it's a
I
school,
never
Yo,
nigga.
went to. I don't.
DJ,
I never heard about
the
that.
reason why Hood feel this way, because Hood be on his channel and he be making fun of the black community. That's what he
He
does
does. He
on a
does.
consistent basis.
He does.
That's
I
his
make fun of the
viewpoint.
shit I used to do all the time. Yes, yes.
I'm
It's
gonna come.
Go ahead.
cathartic.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Pete.
Okay, I'm gonna come back in about 10 minutes, and thank you for letting me join.
All right. No doubt. No doubt. Appreciate you for coming through. All right. And let's welcome Auntie to the stage. But yeah, who we just who somebody was talking to. Hood. Hood is saying that Hood, you trying to demonize the neighbor, the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like if everybody in the hood is criminal and indulging criminality, people just talking about surviving humble beginnings, bro. I don't know what I don't see what's wrong with
No,
that.
no, no, no. The question was that, well, the conversation point was that people survive the hood and it gives them these great qualities that they can use in life in other places. And I say, no, it's more like the opposite. More of the time, coming out of the
Bro,
hood, you're gonna learn anti-civilizational behavior that makes you less likely to function well in a greater society.
bro, that is crazy to say.
Therefore,
That is
that's this
wild. That's
phenomenon.
some wild
That's how
shit.
you explain this phenomenon of no matter how good a black person does, he never feel comfortable unless he back in the ghetto.
Hold up, can I jump in just real
Bro,
quick? Cause I
he's
got
bro,
a few minutes.
and you gotta end, but hood is assuming that everybody in the hood is one way, and that shit is crazy to me, bro. There's people that's got two family household, but they just live in a bad neighborhood. You just like, come on, man, go ahead, Ant.
No. This is real quick because I got an appointment in a few minutes. All right, so this is what you're talking about. It's just there's formal education, there's informal education. So I get it. You can learn some very, very messed up behavior in the hood, but you can also learn messed up behavior in the suburbs and everything else. But you can also learn good things about the hood, like you can hone your people skills. You can learn different things about business. It's really about what you make it. You know what I'm saying? It's a tool, it's a resource. So just like any other
You
tool.
can learn how to
It,
stretch some money and live. You can learn how to stretch your money.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You can learn how to spot BS a mile away because you learn a lot of things. A lot of successful business people will tell you, you know what I'm saying, it's their street smarts that got them through. You know what I'm saying? They got them through and was able to, help with their people skills. You know what I'm saying? To this day, some of the biggest business deals are still closed on cocktail napkins in the back of clubs and stuff like that, just because, you know what I'm saying, people are just a little bit more relatable, and people will tell you they learned those skills in the neighborhoods that they grew up in. So, you know what I'm saying, a tool, a resource, it it can be used for different things. You know what I'm saying? Like you can use those skills to destroy things, but you can also use those skills to build things. It's really about who you are and what you make it.
Mm.
Let
It's
me let me
also
point something
about
out to you, bro.
community. Go
Theoretically, if you needed it done, I could whip up a batch for you right now. And no, at no point in my life selling crack at all have any of my skills applied in the real
This
world.
nigga trying
Not
to
a
whip
one.
up a batch in
Not a one, bro.
2025.
Not. I'm
This
just saying. Like
Imagine if
I
you
know
was
exactly
baking
what we're
cookies
talking
or
about.
selling cake.
I know
Wow.
exactly what you're talking about. And niggas overhype that shit to the point where we just gotta stop, bro.
bro,
Stop.
wait a minute.
Just
Wait a
What
stop.
minute.
if you
Just
was
stop
selling
doing
cakes
it.
or baking
Wait a minute.
cookies
Wait
with
a
that
minute.
same mindset?
Wait a minute. Selling drugs, right, is just an illegal businessman, but you're
Correct.
still a businessman. And again, hood, you assuming, you literally correlating everything hood to criminality, bro. How much percent of people in the hood is criminals, bro? That's the bro, you over romanticizing this shit. You making this
I
shit
stayed
sound
in the
like,
bounds you gave me. I stayed in the terms that were given, bro.
I mean, I would say this much. Even if you're running like an illegitimate business, I've seen some people in the hood with actual illegal businesses that have more upfront and straight up business practices, given the way that they run their business, the relationships they make, the fact that they can give their customers a product, a service that they want and they appreciate and they're willing to pay for. I've seen people with illegal businesses that have better business practices than people that have legal businesses.
right?
For real. That scam and plot scheme and pretty much rob their customers every single day. But because it's legal doesn't make it better. And a lot of times you can learn those legal bad business practices outside of the damn hood. So it's really about what you make it and how you make it, bro. I'm not saying everything that people learn in the hood is going to be a good thing, but it really depends on who the student is, who the teacher is, for the most part.
Um, Jay Morgan said, when they gonna save the hood? You see, y'all be over romanticizing shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all, that everything that y'all say is a community, don't be a community. Somebody has said it the other day on a panel. A community is a group of families. Every geographical location is not a group of families, bro. Y'all just say everything is a community.
I
You
think
know what
that
I'm
might have
saying?
been me, DJ.
I think it probably was you on the last week panel. What's up, 18? What you got on the topic, bro?
I just joined in, man. I had to step away for a while. I'm just here listening because
Okay.
I just joined in. So.
This nigga hood is talking down on the hood once again. You know what I'm saying? Demonizing the hood. He says surviving the hood, you don't harness no skills from surviving the hood that you could use outside of the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get out of the hood, surviving the hood ain't nothing you could use from that shit. You know what I mean?
Um, damn. You know what? I'm kind of on the fence with that. I can't even front because I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, as somebody that grew up in the hood, um, you learn how to survive without having much, and you learn how to make something out of nothing. But what I think he's saying is that outside of the hood, it's so much information that you're not privy to that you don't know that can be used against you as
Bro,
well.
there's
Like,
people outside of the hood that ain't even surviving. I don't
no,
I
I
think
get
it's
you.
more I'm leaning towards more what Ant was saying. It depends on the student and the teacher. It depends on what you, because it is not just it's not black and white, and it's super subjective. Because in the hood, first of all, everybody's not criminals, and learning and surviving
I
any
agree.
place, you're gonna learn something. There's no way that you could survive and not learn from surviving. Like what the fuck? You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
I
That's
agree. But
that's rare as fuck. You know what I
I
mean?
give you the perfect example. Like, for instance, when we seen people that came out of the hood, um, like let's say people that was become rappers and stuff. People that
Mm.
came out of the hood, they didn't understand their contracts. They didn't understand the information that was put in the contract. So a lot of the times, what you don't know can be used against you because a lot of that was used to exploit them and be able to, take a majority of the money that was owed to them because they didn't understand the business, they didn't understand the information, they didn't even understand the wording um,
Right.
on a lot of things. So to a degree, I see that, but at the same time, yeah, I'm kind of like I'm kind of on the fence because it was a lot of things that I never knew, growing up that I had to educate myself on that. So I'm a little on the fence. I can see that to a degree, but
I wouldn't say what I would say would have been a more concrete statement is um the hood ain't the only place that you could learn from or exclusively survive in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But I think surviving anyway, if you survive the hood, you gain experience that you could use. You survive college, you gain experience you could use. You survive the army, you know what I'm saying? You survive living in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? Wherever you survive, you're gonna gain experience, skills to go on to the next level because you're gaining experience regardless. It's not exclusive to the hood. And I
I
think
agree.
that's what hood conservative that's what was hood conservative issue. He probably think is exclusive to the hood.
Yeah, and
I
I
think we're
understand.
romanticizing by pointing out all these intangibles that you can't quite falsify. This is romanticism, brother. It is.
Okay, you know
I
what?
don't.
And I can see that to a degree on what he was saying based off of the fact that what he was saying is that, like, for instance, we know most people in the hood aren't criminals, right? But it's a high rate of crime that take place in the ghetto because it's an impoverished place in a lot of areas, and that aspect of it has been romanticized to a degree as far as the media goes. Anytime people think of the hood, they're going to think of violent crime. They're going to think of poverty. They're going to think of people trying to get by. So that element has been over romanticized, and we don't have us as black folks. We don't have anything else to balance that out. It's not a balance as much as it should be. Maybe in the '90s, in the early '90s, we had it, but now it's kind of like it seems that the criminal element is overly promoted versus anything else. So
I
I can
think the hood. I think the hood is overly represented by criminality. Cause I'm not. Look, bro. I'm not even. Obviously, I'm from Guyana, bro. Right.
right,
And even in the hood in Guyana, the majority of people in the hood is not criminals, bro.
right.
The majority of people poor, sure. But there's people that got money too. Their family just live. Their family probably used to be poor. They come up with some paper and they probably still living in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So people just think that the hood just is like everybody in the hood is doing crime. It's some hoods that they don't even got that much crime because everybody know each other there. What you gonna do? Steal from your neighbor and they know who it is and know where to send the police. So it's just like we over exaggerate this shit like it's some sort of war zone. You know what I'm saying? Like Chirac. I don't know Chirac, you know what I'm saying? But I know niggas from Chicago and they said the whole of Chicago ain't even like that. You know what I mean? It's
No, not
probably
the whole.
parts.
Yeah, it's parts. Anything can go down anywhere, but it's parts here, and it's over glorified. I don't know what's the media's agenda to try to make it seem like Chicago is the worst city in the country, which is nowhere near.
Hmm.
Chicago is not even in the top 10 dangerous cities in the United States. We got our issues. We got problems with crime and everything, but it's a lot of we people don't even talk about it's good areas. It's good areas with black people on the south side, bro. It's homes, like
Well,
$1 million homes
think about
on
the
the south
language
side.
we're using, though. Isn't the language that we choose to use indicative of a reality we choose to not acknowledge? You don't survive your childhood. You don't survive a nice neighborhood. You survive cancer. You survive war. You survive an armed attack from a crazy guy in an alley. Surviving your childhood is black shit, bro.
No, that's not
Bro,
surviving. No,
you
that's not
survive
black shit.
anything, bro. Anything. This guy
Like
is
that's any person that's in a dangerous environment. So a person like, let's say you seen the movie City of God, right? Hood Conservative. You ever saw the movie City of God?
Yeah, yeah, that was a while ago. They hated on the dog. Well, he was a crazy black nigga too. He was dark skinned. He was out of his mind. He was
Yeah,
bad.
Lil Z. But people was surviving down there. They was living in fucking favelas where crime was rampant. You got people in Ukraine right now. They surviving. A situation with war. Palestinians are surviving in a situation with the
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you're
small headed.
describing war
You
zones
know
and
it's
third world
crazy. Wait a
poverty
minute,
and
bro.
comparing
You
that
know
to
it's
a black
wild. You know it's
childhood.
wild, bro. You're gonna sit here on this morning, this Monday morning. You're gonna start your week off by telling the people that anything that was challenging, any challenge that you face, you survive that shit. It's like you're trying to minimize the other challenges other people face. You know what I'm saying? Somebody survived the traffic, somebody survived whatever, made it to work and shit. You know what I'm saying? It don't always gotta be extreme, it's degrees of the shit, you know what I'm saying? But surviving anything make you stronger.
Yeah,
As a matter
and
of fact, you prove
The
your
words you
strength
choose
in
to
that thing
use,
by surviving.
the words you choose to use reveal a truth that you choose to not acknowledge. I'm going to stand on that.
What you
and one thing I will say too with the hood, DJ, it teach you
Mm.
to be grateful. Like if you grow up and you don't really have much anything, it teach you to be grateful of when you what you get, and the hood also teach you to hustle. Have anyway, everybody in the hood ain't slinging rocks. You got motherfuckers that get in the middle of the street and they sell water and t-shirts and
Right.
socks. You got motherfuckers that open up candy stores out of their house. You know what I'm saying? You got people that do all types of
They
shit.
got people that open up that start doing hair, start cutting hair, you know what I mean? Just different shit, landscaping, all types of shit.
Yeah, you got people opening up barbershops. People learning. Everybody that's in there don't want to want to be involved in activities where it may cost them their freedom or cost them their life. So they try to figure out other ways to get out. I'm not saying it's the best environment that you want to live in, but to just act like it don't teach you anything, and it's just a fucked up ass place in general altogether. I beg to differ.
Listen, if you ain't from the hood, then stay the fuck out the hood. No, if you ain't from the ghetto, stay the fuck out the ghetto because you wouldn't understand the ghetto.
Yeah, that's
We
that's
say these
Treasure
things,
Ronnie, my
brother.
nigga.
Like we describe these things in our own words, and then when we're challenged with it, we act like we didn't say the shit we just said. I refuse. I refuse. You do that
No,
shit. I'm
I
not.
get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I know
Like,
that's
why would
true.
somebody go to the hood if they ain't got no reason to go there? That is stupid, you know what I'm saying? Or
No, the
kids
point
from,
he's making is that it's such a chaotic, dangerous place. There's little reason to be there if you don't have practical reason to be there.
bro. I don't know, bro. I don't even think you went to a chaotic, dangerous place, bro. Like, yeah,
What
yeah.
part of Brooklyn you grew up in, hood servitor?
I didn't quite grow up in Brooklyn. I grew up all over, but I'm from Fort Greene.
Okay, Fort Greene ain't really well. It had its issues, but it's not a hood today.
Oh, hood just dropped. I ain't dropped him, y'all. He dropped by himself. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Like dangerous. I think we over exaggerate, bro. That shit is like every day is not a war zone. It's great.
You know what I think, DJ? I think what it is the representation. What I mean about the representation,
Yeah,
anytime someone wants to let you know they're a badass, they'll tell you, nigga, I'm from the hood. It's the representation that people display. Yes, there's, good things happen everywhere. You can learn from anything, but it's the representation, and it's never represented as a good thing until they're trying to, promote some type of development, meaning that they're trying to build something there. They're trying to get more to the community. That's the only time it's really promoted actually good. But for the most part, what people typically do, they use the hood as a shield. And what I mean as a shield, they go out, nigga, I'm from the hood, boy. You couldn't survive the hood. They demonize the hood. They demonize the hood. They use it as a shield. And when other people hear about it, they can only think about the people that's representing it and using it as a sort of protection. And that's the
You saying
problem.
that somebody shouldn't be proud of their hood that they from?
No, it's not about being proud of the hood, right? My whole thing is they're using it as a fear tactic. They're going around telling you, nigga, I'm from the hood. I'll beat your ass. You ain't from the hood. What hood you from? They're trying to figure out if you're from a more dangerous place than them to put fear in you for you to back off
Man,
whatever the hell you're doing.
anybody be
It's some
saying
truth
that
to
they
that.
from somewhere. Come on, man.
And
You can't say where you from.
I'm telling you
It's
what it is.
definitely some
You
truth.
never,
I
you
can't front it.
never, you never hear people, right, Witch Doctor,
Mm.
tell you that I'm from Beverly Hills. What you know and stuff like that. You never
So
hear
why
people say
don't
that
they?
to
Hey,
put
hey, hey,
Bro,
hey,
so
y'all.
because
wait a minute. So wait a minute.
they're trying to,
If somebody's stunting and popping their collar, they're not gonna say that they from a
but they
rich
do
place.
it. They do it when they're at a point of defense. That's the
So wait a
problem
minute.
with
So
it.
look, so the rich people do that at a point of defense, but the poor people is the
No, I'm
ones
talking
attack it.
about.
That
I'm
is
not
crazy.
talking about.
No, no, no.
I
That's
see.
not
I
how rich
got you.
people do it, bro.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking
You
I
about
you're
got
what
you.
gonna
rich
say
people
shitting
do
on
it.
people is
No,
defensive.
no, witch
That's
Wait,
doctor,
crazy.
witch doctor. That's not what I'm saying.
I
I'm
got you,
saying
Medicine.
people from the hood do this as a point of defense.
And
Okay.
another thing,
Rich people just get their attorneys.
yeah, and
And
another thing
that's the
to
Well,
add to
not,
difference.
not
that,
even that. Have you ever heard two white guys get in a fight and one guy scream out, "I'm from Cornell, bitch. I went to Duke, nigga." Like white, it just doesn't happen that way. Black folk do this weird shit. I'm from the ghetto, so I'm a killer. Like, no, I don't think that's what that means,
You
nigga.
see, I don't, bro. That is crazy, bro. The thing about it, y'all sound like y'all want the rich to be able to represent, but if the poor do anything, it's like why the poor can't have pride? Why you can't
No,
have
it's
pride
not.
and
It's
be
not
poor?
about
You should
witch
only have
doctor.
shame.
Witch doctor.
So
It's
you
not
gotta have
about
shame
pride.
alone when you poor.
No, it's not about pride, witch doctor. It's
Mm.
nothing about not having pride. It's everything about when you mention the hood, not you per se. It seems like when people bring up the hood, they'll tell you, boy, you don't want to come to the hood, boy. You'll come out dead. Come to my hood. They're telling you it's danger. And for people who don't know the hood, they're gonna be like, why would I want to go there? Everyone is telling me it's dangerous. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
what? Yeah,
or if you say I'm gonna beat your ass, they're gonna say, nigga, you can't beat my ass. I'm from the hood. Where you from? You
But
probably from
that's
some
like, but
soft
wait a
ass
minute.
area. It's
boy. So
used
let me
as
But
ask
a
y'all a
that's like,
question.
shield.
but if some, but that shit in physically. If somebody's shit in financially, they could be like, "Yo, I'm from Beverly Hills. Where you from? You probably from one of them poor ass projects, them
They
brownstones or something."
won't they
That's
won't say
true.
that. That's
That's
what
So
true.
wait a
but
minute,
That is
because
definitely true.
you saying that one could brag about their strength, but the
it's
other
not
can't
about
brag about their
bragging.
strength.
It's not about bragging. I don't know.
All
I
right.
think I really think I'm coming off wrong. What I'm trying to say is right. I'm not trying to say people from the hood are bad. I'm definitely not saying that. What I'm trying to say is when they mention the hood, they mention how dangerous it is. Most of the time you hear people say, boy, your block ain't I'm for murder capital. You hear these people say everything negative. They don't say, man, people in my community are building businesses and they doing this. You rarely hear people say that. They speak
Bro,
more on how
the
they speak
majority of
more on
times,
how
honest
destructive
here,
their neighborhood is.
majority of times I hear people talk about the hood, you know what I'm saying, especially on TV, is when they achieve some shit and they trying to show that they came from that shit and they did this, you know what I'm saying? So they proud, you know what I mean?
Ain't
I
nothing
don't,
wrong
I
with
don't
being proud. Ain't nothing wrong with
so
being
you
proud.
but you
I'm from
making
the
it
hood.
seem like the
Witch
only
doctor.
time.
No. I would
Hmm,
never do that, witch doctor, because I'm from the hood. I'm from Opelika, Dade County, right?
okay.
And I grew up in a rough environment. But guess what? It wasn't rough for me because everybody knew me. See, they was familiar
And
with
this is
me.
what I'm saying is the hood is not rough for everybody. This is what we
But
was just saying.
that's
Everybody
the
in the
thing.
hood ain't struggling like that.
But the thing is I grew up doing a lot of knuckleheaded stuff.
Yeah, I think
You
you're
know, and
losing the
those
point, bro.
influences. I grew up doing a lot of knuckleheaded stuff, things that I'm
Bro,
not proud of to today. But to go around and demonize the hood, like for me to go around and tell people, man, you can't mess with me. I'm from the hood. I am putting negative in, negative
How is
energy
that?
in the
That
hood.
is not always negative. You know what I'm saying? That is
No,
not
what I'm trying,
necessarily.
if I'm telling people the area that I grew up in, right? No, tell
Mm,
me how is this for property value? Tell me
mm.
how is this for property value? If I go around and tell people you don't want to come to the hood, you'll get killed. You'll barely make it past 18. How is that good for property value?
Bro, who says that? You see, come on, bro.
Yeah,
Come
You
on.
okay.
hear
I
people
wanted I
tell
wanted
you,
to
you
interject
hear
real quick.
people, you hear people tell
This is
you,
an
I'm surprised.
exaggeration of what's be
No,
going on,
no,
bro.
no. You hear people tell you all the time, man, I was surprised that I made it past 18.
Okay, I
How is
get.
that good for
Okay, wait.
property value?
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, I get what you're saying, Manosphere, and there's some truth to what you're saying. It's a lot of truth to what you're saying. Like, cause I fucking when I was growing up, it was the same thing. But you, the thing is, man, like a lot of these people, they don't even know any better because they're dealing with the situations in their environment, especially when you say how people are talking. You're talking about people that's 17, 18, 19 years old.
Exactly. He's not
That,
talking
that
about adults who achieve nothing, bro. The people who achieve be saying that this where they come from. They come from the bottom, and they. But you talking about kids trying to like represent where they from and shit. That's like kids
I
doing that
don't,
shit, bro.
but the thing is Witch Doctor, I'm not speaking negative on the hood. I'm saying when people refer to it, they
no, I
come
get what
from,
you're saying.
they want to advertise the negative aspects of it. They don't
Yeah,
want to advertise the positive things.
I get what you're saying, algorithm, and you have to understand too, because here's the thing that I get where y'all coming from, especially the people that made it out. It
Mm.
seems like y'all want people to operate on the same on the same mentality as people that got shit and people that has had experiences of learning better information to achieve and to accomplish certain things. You want people without the resources to act and respond in the same way that people with the resources do. We know in the ghetto it's not a lot of education. The education is terrible. The fucking food is like the shit that we're eating is not the best. You know, a lot of people are coming from fucked up ass circumstances, so the mentality is going to be different from somebody that was getting the information early on what to do, what steps to take in learning about property value, learning about different things. It's going to be completely different
Mm.
versus those people. And I understand being a black person that's coming from the ghetto, once you learn a lot of that information and you absorb it, you be like, damn, man, like I never knew this shit. I wish I would have learned this shit earlier. And then you start looking at your own people and the like that, y'all need to know
Yeah.
this, or why
But
wouldn't
that's
you know
not
this?
what. But
But
that's not what's being said, right? Like
Like for me, when I talk Witch Doctor,
somebody saying that they came where they came from. You know what I'm saying? They came from humble beginnings. They came from poverty and shit like that. That's literally inspiring other people who come from that shit. Instead of talking about the niggas who only say, "Oh, they from," instead of talking to the 17-year-old who's talking about the hood in a negative light, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even think it's fully negative. It's like telling somebody, yo, I'm from where it's hard. You don't want to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the only thing they could use that shit for. If they was from Beverly Hills, the only thing they could have used Beverly Hills and stunt with is like, I'm from Beverly Hills. Well, your credit is like. So that's the strength of coming from Beverly Hills. The strength of coming from the hood is like they came from hardship. I could survive
but
you trying to.
the people in Beverly Hills also coming from hardship. Everybody has a particular type of
No, you
struggle.
talking
And
about, but
I'm not
bro, you just
speaking on
wait a
the
minute. You
I'm not
just said
speaking on the
somebody don't brag
struggle.
about coming from Beverly Hills, and I
I
was saying,
said, no, what I'm trying to say, Witch Doctor, is right because I'm
mm,
from the hood. I'm not gonna say the hood is bad because then I'm essentially saying that I'm bad because I actually come from the hood, Witch Doctor. I'm not proud of anything that I did at that particular time frame. What I'm saying is that when I speak about the hood, I try to focus on the positive things. I don't brag about things that I did, when I was an adolescent. I don't do that whatsoever because I wouldn't want people to view the hood that negatively. What I'm trying to say is more people need to promote the positive things that come out the hood, not the negative things. The only thing
But
the
that's
most
not
of
what was
the
being said. You saying something different. Hood is saying that's not what Hood was saying. I'm thinking you and Hood saying the same shit. He's saying that ain't nothing to be proud of about coming from the hood, and coming from the hood is not.
Don't misquote me. Don't misquote me.
What did
I
you
say
say
that
about
you do
hood?
not gain very many transferable skills in the hood. All right, your career selling dope is not going to
Good.
transfer into
He's
the
bro.
corporate boardroom
You
or
see
into
what
the
he's talking
mechanics
about?
office.
This is what I'm saying,
You're
bro.
not going to get a great blue collar career. None of
Bro,
these things that you're calling transferable actually
how much
transfer. We like
percentage
to
of
tell
people,
ourselves this shit because what
bro,
else are
hood
we going to tell
conservative? How
ourselves,
much
bro?
percentage of people in the hood is selling drugs? Like this is what the first thing he go to
What
when
else?
talking about
What
the
else?
hood. But go ahead.
What typical things are you associating with the hood that you now say, well, because I did this, because we grew up living this way, I can now be successful outside of the ghetto? Because what you know what the
Bro,
ghetto teaches you? How to survive in the ghetto around ghetto niggas, bro. Once you get away from that, you need to learn a whole new set of rules and a new
I just
language.
said that. I just said that like
hood
a few minutes
conservative,
ago.
bro. That's false, bro. You saying
and
that
and and,
coming
and
from the hood
which
is no
doctor coming from
transferable skills. That's what he's saying. And the first thing he associated the hood with is selling drugs and shit. How much percentage of people even sell drugs, bro? Like what the fuck
Well,
are
that
you
was my
talking about?
career. I was a star, so I was special. But my point still stands, bro. Like, what great? Because like even while I was there, I'm
Wait,
looking
Hood,
around.
you
There's
sold
not a
dope.
lot of activity. Not heroin, but there's not a lot of activity
Hood
going
probably
on
sold
that's gonna get you
a
that's gonna
seven.
get you a
He
career,
probably
bro.
sold a seven a kush. You know what I'm saying?
No, 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 no. But I'm just saying, bro, this the shit that goes on is not highly transferable, and we just keep telling ourselves this lie because it feels good.
No, I like what one thing I think where you guys are coming from, Manosphere and Hood, like when you said the representation is not more balanced representation of black people
exactly.
outside
It's
of the
not.
negative, outside of the negative. Like I said this before, I would fucking love to see a black Grey's Anatomy. I would love to see that. And I do get what y'all are saying. We have to try to. I say the people that are like minded get together and try to figure out a way to promote that, because we know that the media sources will never promote something like that where it's gonna show black people in a positive light on some corporate shit or some business shit or all black cast. That's not gonna happen. But if
The fucked up thing is, bro, the first thing that somebody think about when they think about the hood is drugs. The first thing I think about when I think about the hood is poverty. Like literally.
But
The
that's
first thing you
but
thinking
which
about
doctor? I
is
get
selling
that though
drugs,
for
bro.
you.
And
Which doctor?
somebody
I get
and
that for you.
but wait a minute, let me just rock, right? And somebody who's saying that they proud of their hood or they proud of where they from, I don't see nothing bad about that shit. Y'all trying to demonize that shit like
But
only
they're
people who
not saying that they're
y'all trying to
proud of their
demonize the shit
hood.
like only people who from means should be proud of where they from and shit.
I
That
ain't
shit is
saying
Look
that.
at how
That's
you
not
just
what I'm
described it.
saying.
You just
that's what
described
you
it
saying,
as
hood. That's
you know.
literally what you saying.
DJ, you said out your mouth, when I hear hood, I think drugs and poverty. And then you said a person should be proud of drugs and poverty.
I never said, bro. Who heard me?
So
Put
if
a
the
one
hood
if
is,
you heard
if
me said people
DJ,
should be proud of drugs and
DJ,
poverty.
if you're telling me on one hand that you hear drugs and poverty, and then on the other hand you say you're proud of the hood, but the hood is drugs and poverty, how the
Bro,
fuck am
I
I
did not
wrong?
say that shit. I said the hood. The first thing I think about when I think about the hood is poverty. You the one
And
that think
drugs.
about selling
no, he
drugs. I
said
didn't say
poverty.
drugs. You the
No,
one that say
DJ said
drugs, bro.
poverty. He
People
said
in
the
So
the
use
first.
your
suburbs be
All I'm gonna
drugs.
doing
say
drugs
is
too, bro. Everywhere
all I'm
people do
gonna
drugs. You got to be able to
we
afford
know
drugs.
which doctor. We know one thing. We know music. We most people learn about the hood through the music, the content, the rap music that they actually hear out there. Now, name the rap song that pumps out the positive. No, name. Is there more rap songs that paint out the positive picture of the hood or the negative picture of the hood?
Niggas don't listen to J. Cole in the hood, bro.
Let
Nobody
me
listens to
before I
J.
answer
Let me
Cole.
just say this.
Before I answer, go ahead.
My bad, DJ. I ain't trying to interrupt you, brother. I just want to say, what I say, the negative are more promoted than the positive.
Exactly. That's
The
what I'm trying
negative
to
is more,
say.
but it's a
But
lot of
listen
Trap
to this.
positive.
music.
But
Is
listen
trap
to this.
music? Is trap
Listen to
music
this.
in Beverly Hills? No. Trap music.
Yes, it is. Trap music is
No,
in
no, no,
Beverly
no.
Hills.
We
But
know
they
they
listen
selling
to it a
drugs.
lot.
We know they
They bump
doing
it a
drugs.
lot.
We know they listening to it. We know
But
all that
that's
stuff
because
is
people who
happening.
ain't from
But
the hood be
but
fascinated with the
it's
hood,
a
bro. That's because they buy the
it's a
shit the
reason.
most.
Which doctor? What I'm trying to say is we know they got more drugs in Hollywood than anything. I'm not saying that. But when they refer to a impoverished area that's filled with drugs, they're going to talk about the black community. They're going to talk about the trailer parks. Based off the music, the representation that they're pumping out of there. That's all I'm saying. But we know most of that
Bro,
stuff goes on in
y'all
Hollywood.
mistaking somebody glorifying the hood from somebody who's speaking prideful of where they from. I'm not saying I'm
Just
not
name the
talking about
rapper. Just name the rapper, the successful rapper. I'm talking about up there,
Kendrick
top
Lamar.
five.
Kendrick Lamar.
You
Also,
said Ken. You
Kendrick
see what
Lamar.
you
Also name the people from the hood that control the music industry.
really Jewish people who really control the music industry.
There you go.
Exactly, bro. You literally talking about some shit that is misrepresented, and that's crazy. That I gotta tell you that shit. That is some wild shit, bro.
And you know what's crazy about it? You've literally had artists who said that they wanted to put out certain records, and a fucking round table full of small head people would listen to that record and said, "No, you need to show more representation of where you from. You're from Detroit. You're from New Orleans. You need to put these types of records out because those are the records that's going to sell the most." Once a certain mentality is promoted and it brainwashes people into only wanting to see that, it's very hard to reverse it. Very. You got to have somebody that's
This is
willing to
why.
take a chance. Lupe Fiasco is one of my favorite rappers. Lupe never got the push that he should have got.
Literally right now in this conversation, right? Literally right now in this conversation, bro. This nigga hood is actually trying to add to the negative light the hood is being painted in. Every time we talk, he's mentioning selling drugs. Like literally, bro. Like you telling me that you telling me that the hood got bad representation while representing the hood bad and saying that you was a trap star, you know what I'm saying? And all sorts of shit, bro. And adding to it. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying that a lot of people just
Well,
is
how
saying
about you
that
niggas stop describing me as an angel then? I'll let me tell you how I was and stop making up how
who's
things are.
who's describing you as an angel.
Well, because it's like you're having this outside perspective of an internal problem, and I was inside of it, so I know.
How am I having an external? I'm from where I'm from is even more hood than where you from, and I'm not trying to
I'm not even saying that
sugarcoat.
you're not. I'm not saying you're not, but it's like, bro, I
When
know
you,
exactly what goes on, and then you're trying to tell me I don't know what goes on when I was
I'm
going on.
when did I tell you you don't know what's going on?
That's kind of the tone of these conversations, though. It's like,
You see
is this
this
shit not
man?
happening?
Bro. Hood is crazy, bro. Hood be on some different shit. Ain't nobody discredit your drug dealing escapades and shit. Nobody never said nothing to that shit. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is because you did that shit when you was in the hood, and that's the only thing you did. That's the only light you see the hood in. But everybody in every hood is not no drug dealer. That's the few people in the hood. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't even
Those,
on
those,
drugs.
those are those are the stars. That's the alphas, the primes. That's who makes things happen. That's who everybody else is following. That's who the
No,
children want to be like. That's who the girls are fucking.
I get what you're saying, Hood, but I think a lot of that too has to do with the fact that you got people that's seeing an influx of money in an area that doesn't produce a lot. Where you got it's a
Right.
motherfucking
So now
food
it's
desert. It's
the
barely any
income. It's not
jobs
now. It's the
over there.
primary
So
business for a lot of people. Like I mean, you're trying to take away from it, but it's just the way it is, though. And now, like, again, if A, then B, right? So because that's the way it is, there are other things that have to follow along because that's the way it is. But then when I say it in plain English, it's offensive, and people don't like to acknowledge what that really means. I know what it means because I
I
see
don't
it
think nobody.
intimately.
I don't think nobody offended Hood. You know what
I'm
I'm
definitely
saying?
not offended. I said there were certain aspects that you said that I agree with.
Now,
Then there's certain
now,
things, there's other things that I disagree with.
now, Witch Doctor, guess what?
Mm.
I could go to my hood any day and I feel safe in it. I literally truly feel safe in it. Right?
Mm.
But I'm not gonna go to it. I've made it past that level in my life. I need to be
I mean,
building
if you
up.
don't know nobody that live there, like, why would you just
Yeah.
go there just to go to
Yeah,
just?
like everybody would know me. If I walked through the neighborhood, people would come out, have the conversation, we would hang out, we would do all that stuff. But I had
Mm.
to leave that behind because look what a lot of people do go through when they go back to the hood. At the end of the day, you're in charge of your survival. You know what the environment is, what it entails. You've been in those situations. If you've been from the hood, you've been in them situations when that
But
person
Hood,
did come back.
manosphere.
I'm not saying that's for
Nobody,
everybody though.
nobody said go to the hood or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is, all I'm talking against is when Hood was saying, le- um, surviving the hood, you don't learn those skills that translate in the real world. And I'm also against the demonizing of people who proud of where they from and say what hood they from. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you should go back to the hood. I'm not saying you should indulge I ain't even say you should indulge in criminal activities. I ain't said none of
That's
that
like
shit.
Witch Doctor. Like, look, when I moved out the city, bro, when I wanted to start a business and set myself up in the real world, nobody
Mm.
that I was associating with for the last whatever years could help me do anything. Nobody can help me with taxes. Nobody can help me filing paperwork with a
Bro,
business.
I've been through
Nobody
the
can help
same
me find.
exact bro.
And so,
I've been
not
through the
only that,
same exact shit, but that don't
not
mean
only that,
that is crazy.
my daughter now off to college, and she's in the medical program, and I had to explain to her, you're
Mm.
reaching a plateau in life that most people in your family can't relate to. You're gonna start leaving your family members behind because of how far you want to get in life, right? This is the reality, bro.
Wait, you tell your daughter that she gotta leave her family members behind?
No, I'm telling her that you're gonna get to a place where you can't relate to them like you used to.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
and ain't nothing
Like
wrong with it.
you're just gonna be
That's
in a
just
world
part
they
of
can't
growing.
understand anymore.
And that's just
Right.
part
So
of
and
growing.
that's
Ain't
my
nothing wrong
point.
with that
A,
shit.
a lot of the people that I would have known, a lot of the people that I would have associated with, they can't understand what it takes to live outside of the ghetto anymore.
Mm. Look, man, I'm not advocating for people to go and live in the ghetto, for people to stay in the ghetto or none of that shit. I'm just saying if people's proud of where they from, I don't see I don't see what's bad about that shit. And also I don't see the hood as just selling drugs or none of that shit you talking about. You know what I
I
mean?
don't either. I
And
don't
also and one more thing, I do think when people survive the hood, they gain skills like surviving anywhere. Anywhere you survive, you
but
gain skills. It's not
we
exclusive to
talk
the hood.
about the hood as if it's a war zone. It's what the people in that community makes
I'll
it.
talk about the hood like it's a war zone, bro.
No, it's what the people in that community makes it. Like for instance, when I was in the hood, I
Yeah.
learned a lot. I learned behaviors, how people could switch up on you, how people could do different things. And to this day, I use the skills of what I've learned in the hood in my actual life right now. Like I
Mm.
could see deception because I've been deceived so many times in the hood. I could see a lot of these things. And it comes with the territory. But I wouldn't suggest for someone to go to the hood. Hey, I want you to go live in the hood for 5 years to get smarter. I'm not gonna tell anybody that.
Like, why would you do that, bro? Come on, bro. You see, this is what I'm saying.
We're
Y'all
talking
saying
about
unnecessary. That shit is
skills.
not even necessary. Like, why
No,
would you have to tell? That's like somebody who got a business without going to college saying that I want to advise somebody to go to college. Of course, because it's not necessary. You done it without having to do this. So of course you're not gonna advise them to go and do some unnecessary shit.
Look at the
Let me tell you
example
when
bro
you
just
really.
gave. Right? Hold on one second. Look at the example you just gave about threat perception, right? When you come out the ghetto, your threat perception is thrown out of whack. Because you notice we be having conversations with dudes and they go left for almost no reason. And you be trying to understand why they went left because they perceive threats that aren't there. Because you spend your whole life fighting threats
Right,
that
check this out.
may or not be
Let me
there.
say this. Let me say this. A lot of the niggas that be popping off on the panels don't even be no hood niggas, bro.
That's true.
Hmm.
That's this
And
man. Everything that's bad, he associate is like, bro. Hood conservative been traumatized, and I don't want to minimize his trauma. But you
Who are
need
these
therapy,
niggas acting
bro.
like when they pop off on panels, though? They're not acting like Chad from Rodeo Drive. Stop that. Stop
Hey,
that right now.
hey, you got a point. I can't even front. You got a point.
now, what I can say is,
We
right,
got a
with
point that they
doctor,
acting hood when they pop off. They don't always
Yeah.
act hood. They just pop off. So you saying only
That's what they
people?
revert.
So
They
you saying
revert to
only
type.
people from the
Yes,
hood is?
bro.
So you saying only
No,
people
no,
from the hood is tough?
no. They're embodying an archetype. They're reverting to a protective shell. That's what they're doing.
Bro, you associating that shit with hood because everybody in the hood ain't even tough, and everybody that's popping off on the panel don't be emulating like they from the hood. You know what I mean?
And another thing too. It's not just us. When you go to the other communities, especially other like white folks on here, they have arguments just like we have over here, where they make threats to each other and all types of shit. But
And they
I
said they would like they say them niggas be threatening each other to pull up and shit. Are they acting like they from the hood? Like this is what I'm saying, bro. Like hood conservative is like, bro, y'all let people demon, bro. Y'all that shit is crazy to me, bro.
Oh, come on. You gotta act like white guys don't have a whole
Everything
different
that's
energy when they beef, bro. Come on, man.
bro, you just demonize everything about the ghetto, and the ghetto already got its own problems, and you just trying to demonize the ghetto, bro.
and
How
the
That's
you
guy.
gonna demonize the place that created demon time? There's no
But see,
fucking way
here's
you
the
can
thing.
demonize demon time.
So are we gonna act like the ghetto just became the ghetto based off of the people that was living there, or the ghetto was systematically structured into being that? That's the thing that gets me when a lot of the times we had these conversations. I mean, because I understand both points. Because I don't live in the ghetto no more. I grew up there, but I don't ever forget either that I'm one paycheck from going back. And I understand exactly where you're coming from, because some niggas in the ghetto you can't have a conversation with um about trying to elevate or progress, because a lot of the times people are stuck. They might have made mistakes that they feel like they can't get nowhere. And it is a such thing as making enough mistakes where you're gonna be fucking stuck, or it's going to hinder you to a point where you can't really progress as much as a person that didn't make those mistakes. So I
is
get it.
real.
But at the same time too, I know it's a lot of motherfucking cutthroat people that ain't never stepped foot in the fucking ghetto, that know more than me, that know about business, that do a lot of cutthroat shit. People that are more what I mean more advanced in business and everything, that do a lot of cutthroat shit, that do a lot of because they can get away with it legally. They ain't got to worry about the difference is in the ghetto between outside, like people do a lot of sleazy grease ball shit that they can get away with because they can legally get away with it. In the ghetto, you do a lot of sleazy grease ball shit, somebody might bust your shit open. So like that's the difference in comparison. But I get what you're saying, but I don't just want to just shit on the place that I come from. And I ain't been back in a while, but I still go back because it wasn't
And
all bad.
he's just associating everything bad to just the ghetto, and it's like, bro, every play, bro, every level got its own devil, bro. There's a devil on every level, and everybody in the ghetto ain't on demon time or none of that shit, bro. The only thing I would say is the most common thing in all ghettos is that people is poor. You know what I'm
representation,
saying?
the
That's the
representation
common thing.
neighborhoods that you saying that people are proud of, it's the negative in the, it's the negative source of it. I'm not talking about the people who says all these good things and the businesses that they built in the neighborhood and what they made off it. I'm talking about the people that told you that I sold heroin on my block. I did all these other stuff that actually destroyed their community. Those are the prominent voices that you hear in the neighborhoods that we're speaking about.
And I get what you're saying, Manosphere, because people are easily influenced. So I get what you're saying, right? But at the same time, I look at the standpoint on a person that says shit like that, and I put myself in their shoes to understand why they would say something like that, right?
And I understand that portion, but what ends up happening is, right, how when other people hear about the hood who doesn't know about it, and that's the only message that they're hearing, how do they decide to build in that community? What positive influences are they getting to build it?
Bro, this is
a lot of the times
influence.
those people are not building they're not coming in the community anyway. A lot of the times when the people do come in the community, you got other groups of people that come in there just to exploit the ghetto anyway.
What they're
they're
doing
not
now,
coming in there to hire us. They're coming in
18
there.
letter. What's happening? 18 letter. What's happening now? They're eradicating it. They're gentrifying it. That's what they decided to do.
And
they decided to say, let's push them out the way. Now they can't afford the city. Now they gotta probably move to Mississippi.
And guess what? All they're doing is shifting the property around. Only thing they're doing is shifting the poverty around. They're creating ghettos in new areas because it's not gonna stop. Just because they gentrify,
it ain't gonna stop. But that one spot that you call, the holy grail of your upbringing is gone after that.
It's been that way.
But it's always been that way. I'm not saying they haven't. 18th letter. Just because you have a clear understanding, I have a clear understanding, Witchdoctor have a clear understanding. When the message is always pumped that if people don't survive to be 18 years old on my block, or if you come on my corner, I'm gonna clap that ass. When that's the message all the time that you're hearing over the radio, that's the problem.
But but look at this. But somebody like you, who from the hood, and you made something out of your life, you the person message that should be amplified to inspire other people to be able to see somebody like themselves come out of that shit. But hood,
that's what I do. That's what I do.
He's the only one on this panel that admitted to selling narcotics. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say it. He's the one that said it. You know what I'm saying? And he's the only one that everything he's talking about the hood is demonizing it. So he's actually amplifying the negative aspect.
I'm just too black for this panel. That's always been my problem.
He's amplifying the negatives of the hood. You know what I'm saying? He's not saying like, yo, I made it out. You know what I'm saying? I made it out the ghetto. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm hearing 18th letter saying. You're better off getting your lessons elsewhere. That's what I'm
talking about. With hood. What is hood saying though? What is hood saying?
That's what I'm saying too. You're not getting getting great lessons here, bro.
Not what hood's saying. That's not what hood's saying.
But what I'm hearing is hey, there's other ways to learn. You don't have to be here to learn. I experienced it. That's what he's saying. I experienced this, and I experienced the other side of the world. And you will learn far more and probably be more fruitful to this world if you learn elsewhere. It's a reason why people say, man, I'm trying to get out the hood. They're not saying it because it's a reason why they say, man, I made it out the hood. They're not just saying it just to say it.
And the crazy thing is,
what if we consider the possibility, maybe, just maybe, we were in fact raised wrong? Now what?
Bro, a lot of people is raised wrong, bro. A lot of people is raised by the TV. You know what I'm saying? There's people in the hood that's raised right. Like, what are you talking about? The hood just means you raised poor.
All right, so what's the ratio? What do you imagine the ratio is? Raised wrong versus raised right in the ghetto. What do you suppose the ratio is? Spitball it for me.
I don't know how to even quantify that shit, bro.
I can take a guess. It's probably
And plus,
less
raising right and being
less than you
raised wrong
want.
is subjective. Being raised right and raised wrong is
Well,
subjective.
Like like
let's use
like
financially or economically productive. How about that?
Bro, how you gonna
like
use financially and you know that and we just said a common thing about the hood, the disadvantage is the hood is poverty. You know what I'm saying? You growing up poor.
for instance, look at all the rappers. Look at the TIs, the Jay Z's, the 50 Cents. Guess what they don't do? They took their kid. They don't keep their kids in the hood. They take them out of it because
Right.
they have a clear understanding that, you know what, I want you to live an easier life and be successful. So they put them in position to do that. You don't hear people saying that. You ain't hear now one rapper say, "Hey man, I'm gonna keep my son in the hood."
Why should they? They don't gotta
Hey,
do that.
look at
Why
Ti,
should they do
little
that
funny
shit?
looking son, bro. He wants to be a gangster so bad because that's the image. I
And
guess his dad too. He wants to be like his dad in some way. So now he feels
But
like I gotta be a hood nigga to be me.
no, you know what? You
yeah,
know
that's
what? And
subjective.
this is where I would agree with Hood and Manosphere on. Because I said that when you look at T.I.'s son and when you look at Boosie's son,
Mm.
it's because of the fact that it is no other representation of black men outside of, you know,
Now
the
18.
hood, the hood
Look at
element.
But
look
that's a
at the other
bad
son.
example.
Hold
But
on. Look
that's
at his other son. Why is his other son not the representation? The nigga plays instruments. He sings like alternative blues or something like that. Like he
Okay,
but
is
look at
very
this.
much the
But
I
opposite.
why
agree.
we
It's not
narrowing in on
promoted.
the bad example? What about Master P and Lil Romeo? You know what I'm saying? Lil Romeo
Yeah.
was actually in the hood with Master P, you know what I'm saying? But he ain't trying to live no hood life or no shit like that. And Master P is a good example of somebody who made it out the hood. I don't see Master P
But I
actively
mean,
talking about no.
but watch what happened though, Witch Doctor. The thing about Little Romeo, he grew up in the hood with his dad. That's different. It's not
Mm.
like as if his dad was Master P worldwide, then he had him. Master P wouldn't have had him in the hood. He would have had him out of the hood at that time.
Right. I don't think you should try to keep, bro. I don't think nobody should try to stay in the hood or try to be hood or try to go to the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't.
You try. I think
All I'm
what you're
saying is
saying,
all I'm
Witch
saying when
Doctor. What
people
I
make
think that
so,
you're saying.
wait a minute. Look. The reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because hood had said you can't have no survive in the hood. You don't earn no skills, right? So I'm just saying that people who's exceptional people, but they come from the hood, they should speak up more and say, yo, I came from such and such, so other people could see something else different. Not just say, oh, the hood is bad and just keeps that shit is like you keep
You know,
reaffirming or is like that shit is like negative affirmations and shit like that. It's
but
kind of like you putting
like
people
Witch
down
Doctor.
who live
There's
in the hood.
Witch Doctor. Pretty much. I don't think hood conservative is saying that you can't learn from impoverished
But that's
areas
what he
because
said,
you
bro.
could. But
Wait a
let me
minute.
finish.
Don't
He
try to
said the
save it.
hood. Let
Don't
me
try
finish.
to save it.
Let me finish. He's talking about the hood as in here, like in impoverished places, like in other countries. You can learn a lot from, seeing what they're going through and stuff, things in that nature. You can go to Africa and look through stuff and see a problem, especially out there. You can go to Haiti, you can go to Guyana, you can go to a lot of different places and look at the impoverished areas and learn something from it. No one's not saying you can't. What we're saying is how the hood is represented in its current state right now. There's more
I'm literally
negative
saying
being
somebody
focused
like
on than
you.
positive.
I'm literally saying somebody like you, 18, whoever that came out of the hood, could be better representative of the hood than hood conservative representing the hood. He's the only one that even mentioned that he sold drugs and shit like that. Bro, this is literally amplifying the
So what?
negative.
Am I just being more honest? Is that what you're telling me?
You're not being honest. You're not being honest. You just saying what you
More
amplifying
honest.
one part.
More
But
honest.
amplifying one part of the truth don't means that you're more honest. You gotta speak the whole truth and nothing but
If
the
you
truth.
don't add all of the truth, if you omit some of the truth, then you're lying by omission.
But then you lying because you're saying that there's no skills that you could gain from surviving the hood, and you actually probably gain skills from surviving the hood. Manosphere
I'm
algorithm
telling
said
you,
he
very
gained
few.
skills from that shit.
Oh,
And you're not
listen,
even a good
there,
representative of somebody who came from humble beginnings, because you just trying to shit on the shit and talk
there
about
are no
criminality.
practical, tangible skills, bro. I stand on that 1,000.
I hear you, bro.
You can't prove otherwise. Talk about all my soft people skills if you want. That shit
Already
don't mean a lot
talked
on the
about
test.
already talked about
That's not true.
I already talk about social skills, learning to live below your you know what I'm saying, live on a certain threshold or income, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of skills you could learn from surviving anywhere, and the hood is not exempt from that shit. You could learn from in living in the suburbs. You could learn from anywhere. So the hood is
You can't even
it's like
pass
you
the bus driver.
exempting
You
the
can't even
hood.
pass your
It's
bus
like
driver test with
exempt.
those skills, bro.
You say what? It's like you're trying to exempt the hood from being able from being an
No.
environment that you could learn from. That shit is
Let
crazy.
me
Go ahead, Ant.
Like I said, you can't even pass the bus driver test with these so-called skills you talk about.
But Hood, what you explaining is a motherfucker is just a dumb nigga that don't know nothing. That's not just like, and that's just not with the ghetto, bro. Like
A
you,
lot of people
like
go to school
yeah,
from the
it's just
ghetto and they get
yeah.
scholarships and
That's
shit.
just a dumb nigga that don't know nothing, or a dumb nigga that don't want to learn nothing. That's
Yep.
completely different from somebody that's just living in that environment. Because I had to learn shit, but I do understand what you're saying. Because for me to learn other things, somebody had to show me.
Right.
Because when nobody showed me, I didn't know nothing but where I was living at. So I get what you're saying to a degree, but I'm always I don't know, man, because I try to uh put myself in other people's shoes to understand why they think a certain way and what makes them, like for instance when Manosphere said earlier, niggas that talk about selling coke or selling, because I look back on niggas like that, right? And I'm like, maybe this is the only thing he was ever good at doing. He probably learned how to serve this or serve that.
Let me point something out to you, bro. And this is something I learned
Go
at
ahead.
firsthand observation, bro. Most niggas that's actually in the drug game are almost barely functional IQ. Most niggas are not bright, bro. This is why a lot of them wind up in jail. They get crazy bodies or they get caught doing something retarded because you know what? They're goddamn retarded.
Okay.
That's not necessarily true.
Right, bro. This
I mean,
guy is
bro,
Okay.
the thing is, all right. So a lot of people will tell you that look, I've been in these in boardroom when it come to these damn meetings, all of this stuff, and even the people at the top, bro, that they'll even tell you, bro, they would want the guys that are poor, smart, hungry. You know what I'm saying? And have came from these beginnings. Not only are they easier to communicate with, but they actually understand the grind and they come in motivated and hustling. Look, I was born and raised in New York. That's why they always say in New York, bro, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, just because of the grind and the hustle and the bustle, bro. Now I'm not saying that, just coming from, because I guess when you're talking about the hood, are you talking about like violence and all of that other shit, or are you just talking about like people being for the most part poor?
I'm talking about poor. He's
Yeah.
talking about violence. Like how much people in the hood is even being violent or selling drugs? Or he's like making
Yeah.
he's like over romanticizing and exaggerating the shit. It's like, come on, bro. I'm
Because
talking
I
about
think
being
that's
poor.
why
That's the
it
common
seems
thing
like,
in the hood.
yes, it kind of seems like you're having a couple of different conversations, because it seems like you talking about just being able to make something out of nothing, being resourceful, understanding how to
Exactly.
communicate, making it happen, and he's talking about just being around a bunch of degenerates.
He's talking about criminality, and he's giving
I
the
mean,
false
I'm not even
perception
being
that
that
the hood
particular.
equal criminality.
I'm just saying that you don't learn a lot of transferable practical skills. You just simply don't. When you want to learn, you got to get out the ghetto, bro.
Bro, you could learn, and that what you learn could help you get out the ghetto. You're gonna wait to, how you getting out if you don't learn something that, like the and just said, being resourceful. Like being resourceful could translate in mad shit. You could be at a company and y'all could be low on some side of resource, and you learn how to balance shit out just because you're resourceful. Like sometimes you gotta know how to translate skills from one area to another. It don't gotta be the same area you learn the skill in. I think yo,
Mr.
what does it mean?
I
What
was
does
gonna
it mean?
hmm?
What'd you say?
I was gonna say it's called perseverance. You know, the ability to be able to you know, humbly get through life even when times get tough. You know, you don't give up, you don't look back, you're still able and willing to, you know, just stay the course, because you know that eventually there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I mean,
Hmm.
pause. You gotta get it. Um and
Pause.
some people sorry,
The
but
rainbow is not pause unless I don't think girls gotta say pause, but that shit was funny. You got it.
well, um you know, and I think either some people maybe naturally have it, and some the other thing too.
Hmm.
There are some things that are just instilled within us, and either you built for it or you're not. And it shouldn't be this like hard story like, man, I made it out the hood. But it actually is. And not only do you have the hood, within the hood you have the projects, which is a different hood. It's
That's
like,
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, tell it. Projects a hood within a hood.
But in the
God
hood,
damn.
right?
yeah, so it's like, well, now you know you got your level two, and they in the projects they really do want you to check in, and they asking, hey, what's your name if you walking by. um like they don't just let everybody into the gate. You walking into one of those buildings and stuff, they want to know who you are. That stuff is real.
I'm just saying you can't tell me that you're
Maybe
and I'm
that's the
sorry.
difference. You guys are talking about a lower middle class neighborhood, and I'm talking about the PJs. We ain't talking about the same place, maybe.
No,
And,
I'm saying this right here.
Even
I'm
if
gonna get
you're
right back.
talking about the PJs.
well, and I just share that because I live and work in the community, which can be interesting, right? You know, it's like, well, now they know you as a resident or citizen or whatever, but you also the case manager, or you
Hmm.
know, knocking on your door for things, and it's not always pleasant. You know, it sounds like a very noble thing until you actually are in, you know, within there. That's all I wanted to share.
You know what's so funny? You know who else could tell you horrible stories like I'm talking about? Social workers, case workers, people who have to check on people's kids. They know the intimate ugliness of it all, bro. And it would break your heart to hear these people's careers, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, you're right
Hold on,
about that
but
hood.
hood
You're
conservative.
definitely
So you
right.
Yeah, but
telling
that
me
don't he right about that, but that don't prove the point that he was making. Everything he's saying got nothing to do with the point that he was making. That somebody that made it out the hood can't have no skill, can't hone no skills from that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just experience alone is just the experience alone you gain from the hood, or surviving the hood. You could use that shit in any other place, and it's not even just exclusive to the hood anyway. But I'm just saying this man is trying to exempt learning and gaining experience. He's trying to exempt the hood from that shit. You know what I mean?
and that's all I was saying. I was like, yo, anybody that's been through some shit
Well,
is
you
just
had to
more
come down
equipped
here.
to go through some
Right.
shit than somebody that hasn't been through it. Just naturally.
I
you learn
just
to
say
be
that I wait the people tell me. Man,
I'm
if
just
they
Go
saying,
don't,
ahead,
they don't feel
like
like
you
they
said,
people.
that
go
don't
ahead.
does not kill us, makes us
Let
stronger.
on let Michelle get in there because her mic been messing up whole morning. She didn't get to say nothing. Go ahead. I think her shit went out again. You got it. You got it. I think it was peace of mind or and.
I was gonna say you also learn to be, you know, more vigilant. You hopefully not hyper vigilant because that leads to anxiety, but that does happen. You know, you have compassion, a different understanding, a different appreciation for life, especially because again, being from the hood and the projects, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of things that go on. There are things that you see and witness that you don't even want somebody else to see or experience ever in life. And um I don't know. I don't think it has to be a thing of making it out or you know, being better than the other or anything like that. I just think it's more so, you know, just be your own person and contribute where you can. Help the neighbors, you know, help your elders, help your family. It's even now, you know, I went back to my neighborhood. I had to move back home, and you'd be surprised at how many people just don't check on their grandparents, don't check on their aunt or grandpa or pawpaw or whatever. And it's like, well, that's priceless. Or the neighbor won't cut the other neighbor grass. Just, you know, stuff that didn't exist back in the day. And so I just think no matter where you come from, humility and compassion mean a lot. I don't want to give my Luther King speech. I'm sorry, but I'm just sharing from experience.
Like I
Yeah,
said,
that's a fact. Go ahead, and
not, go ahead.
I was gonna say and Candy's right. She said you can literally, yeah, I want Hood to see this. She's saying you can literally gain useful, tangible skills anywhere, right? If you can't learn any skills while living in the hood, that sounds like a personal problem. And that's what it is. It's a personal problem with Hood. The man is just hard to learn. He's hard to learn it.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it like I say, it really depends on who you are. Because look, some of the biggest criminals, you know, terrorists, whatever in the world, have some like grew up from in privileged backgrounds, are some of the most formally educated people that you can think of.
Right. Look at the
You know,
dude that
so
deleted Charlie Kirk. He from a well-to-do background. You know what I'm saying? Both parents. You know what I mean? A very Christian background. You know what I'm saying? That's from a well-to-do family. That's not no skinhead trailer park white dude. You know what I mean?
and for the most part, it's really about how you use those things that you've gone through. Like people can use their privileged upbringing and their formal education for things that are negative. Like they can just use that stuff for stuff like greed and everything else, and just prey on people. But at the same time, just like Peace of My Mind was saying, you can use your humble beginnings, and just like Doc was saying, you remember when you had nothing, so you know how to make when you know how to make something out of nothing, then you know how to make something out of something.
Right, right.
You know? So, and granted, that's not going to translate well for everybody. So I kind of understand what Hood's saying.
Yeah, of
Most people,
course.
it probably doesn't work out for them. But
That's like saying, but bro, that's like saying, um, everybody from a well-to-do background is gonna turn out good. They're not. Just like everybody from a traumatic background is not gonna always turn out bad. It's not. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you might come from a family that is like, they know they financially aware and stuff like that. That don't means that you're gonna grow up and automatically got that shit. This nigga giving us a tour. Don't dox nothing.
Nice home, brother. Nice home,
Right,
especially
right.
down there in Florida.
like I say, I think it all depends on your mentality, with it. Like I say, tools can build, tools can also destroy. You
Mm.
know, like I say, a tool can be a tool or it can be a weapon.
I think a lot of black folk self-identify with the ghetto, with the hood, however you want to frame it, whatever that means in your mind. For a lot of black folk, it's like attached to the self-identity. So for me to criticize it is to criticize the individual black self, which is a no-no.
I don't know. I
No,
don't
well,
know
and I
about that.
think I think your frustration too comes from Hood. Uh, I think where Hood's frustration may come from, and don't quote me on this, is that you have certain people too that they don't have a network of. They feel that they don't have a network of black people to really work with, like to be on what they're on. You
I think
know?
a lot of black people feel that way.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
honestly, I think college probably is a good way to kind of mitigate that because as adults, it does get harder to network. But college, I think for most people, black, white, or whatever, that becomes a great place where you can start to work some of that out. But I think as a general rule, you hear this complaint often from black folk who are like attempting to do things. They can't hire a lot of other black people. They're just hard to find.
No, I get what you're saying. I like when I hear you and Manosphere talk, it's like on one hand I understand because you feel that it should be better representation for black people in general, so they can have influence on going into another direction where they can actually build something with other black people. But then on the other hand, it seems like when we talk about the ghetto, we want people where it's a lack of education, a lack of opportunity to operate on the same level that people who are born in different environments have an abundance of that we don't. And a different mindset develops into that. Like even when we talk about, people that's hustling or people in the streets and shit like that, or the culture that comes behind that, that is a coping mechanism of trying to deal with in the environments that a lot of people come from. You get what I'm saying? And then on top of that, those environments have even been exploited on various levels that ain't got nothing to do with black people. And just like how we talked about neighborhoods being gentrified, those a lot of the times black people was placed there because of laws and policies and um, ass shit that had happened prior to before any of us was born. So when you put all of that together, then this is what you really get. Because it's like I say, it's a lack of jobs there. They be like, oh well, go get a job. Where the fuck you gonna get a job at when it's none within 8 miles within the 8 mile radius, and you don't even have a fucking car, or you in a situation where you born without none of that shit. So it's more nuances to it than what than what we're talking about.
Well, notice even what he mentioned. He mentioned like, okay, college, for example. When you're put into a college setting with your peers, it's not. I mean, it can be competitive, but it's more of a healthy type of competition. Whereas in the hood, it can be a very unhealthy type of competition. It can be an unhealthy type of competition. So even though people are competing with each other, it could be hand over fist. I mean, if it's a really impoverished community where there's gang banging and all of that, people are shooting each other and competing in just the wrong way. But in college, y'all are competing to see who's got the best grades, who can come up with the best ideas. People are working together to try to be a little bit better than the other group. So even if you lose, you're still kind of winning. You gain something. So it's really about, like I said, it's about one's mentality. That's just the difference between an institution of higher learning and the hood, for that matter. But you can still learn those skills. It depends on your mentality and how you approach it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
there's something about policy. We promise policy and program and resources because they sound like nice words, but I kid you not, you can give somebody a number and they call that number, and number one is disconnected or is not in service, or they have to get sent around to like 4 or 5 different people, or two, they have to be on a 2-year waiting list in order to receive a service, or three, they don't know how to maybe fax or scan some documentation in order to get the service that they're requesting. And so, or they maybe can't read. It's just so things to consider. And so we use all these nice words until you actually are out there with these people having to assist. And it's like, oh my goodness, we're like, we resolve this. And the truth is, you can't do it for everyone. It sounds so like it's something we have to figure out.
Yo, is it me or is it you? Your mic sounding a little bit choppy.
I'm sorry. I was saying that we have so many ideas, and we share things. Even in this world, you have all these people protesting. It's like, well, why don't you go to school to be a counselor or a social worker or something? Someone can maybe alleviate some of the crises that we have in this world. But we actually moving backwards. Even when we're talking about putting mental health professionals into with police officers, I think that's the dumbest thing in the world, because you don't know what somebody has on the other side of that door. Once you are on the other side with someone else, you are at their grace and mercy. And
You said they. What you mean they're trying to put on mental?
So now there's the where they're paying crisis pairing crisis workers with law enforcement, pretty much to, I guess, de-escalate if there's something going on with health. But it doesn't make sense to me, because if you have an armed person against an unarmed person, and that person is, they're experiencing psychosis, or they're not even able to comprehend what you are saying, that puts everyone in danger, and it's just a stupid idea.
That's a lot of danger right there.
Yeah. You talking about having the crisis worker drive around in the police in the squad car? Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That is dangerous beyond dangerous.
Yeah, they could just give the police training on how to deal with how to deal with mentally challenged people. You could just like train the police. They already armed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up, Tequila?
Yeah, DJ, that's what the guns are for. I don't know why people don't understand that.
What you talking about? For special needs people?
Be crazy at your own risk, bro. I don't know why people. Dude. You can't just let yourself be bullied by the so-called mentally insane. You either get down or somebody's gonna lay you down, bro. That's the way it is, and I like it to be that way.
A lot of these people that ran down in the school, they had firearms and they was the mentally insane.
We're not even talking about the same thing, bro. We're not even. I'm talking about law enforcement dealing with people who have mental illness. If you're so mentally ill that you become violent and hostile, I feel nothing.
Bro, but that's somebody that can't control themselves. They could be on some medication or something.
If I can't control myself, you're not going to cry about me. But if I tell you I'm retarded, somehow you cry for me? No.
That is crazy, bro. You could literally get medication or treatment, not really medication, but treatment that could prevent you from even doing that shit. That could save your life. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, they're not getting their medication treatment. They're actually resistant to it. And so if it's like, well, that's you're not being self accountable.
But how much undiagnosed shit they got out here? A lot of people it's not even diagnosed. They just out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I had worked with special needs people, a lot of them people picked them up. Their family then brought them there. They was homeless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And now we're asking police to be therapists. I'm like, no. If they're a therapist, then take the gun away. But that's the whole reason why you send an armed individual in there, because people are crazy and sometimes they kill you.
But look at this. Of course, some people gonna some is gonna have extreme situations where it's life and death, and sure, you might gotta take the other person's life. But I'm talking about sometimes you could prevent certain shit. Sometimes the mentally challenged person is a danger to you and themselves. It's just they can't help it. You know what I mean?
That's like
there's only so far your sympathy is gonna go, because at a certain point, you're asking me to risk my life for someone else for essentially nothing, because it makes you feel like you did the right thing. Because you feel like you're a good person, I gotta maybe get killed by a crazy guy because it makes you feel like you're a good person.
The cops sign up to risk their life, and if you're scared, go to church. Don't go and be a police.
Well, that's what the gun is for, though,
bro.
Right now, all of a sudden you're sucking your teeth, but that was the exact reason why he had the gun.
Bro, that's a kid, bro. You trying to make that shit. You trying to overgeneralize that shit, bro. Like that's not the case all the time. Sometimes you talking a mentally challenged person off a cliff, or I'm saying off a ledge from deleting themselves. Sometimes they got a sharp it don't always be what you think it is. That from what I hear you saying, it sounds like somebody waving a gun and trying to delete the cops or some shit like that. That shit is not.
No, what I'm saying is these situations are chaotic and dangerous by nature, and it only takes a split second for a person to go from peaceful to homicidal, and you never know when that's going to happen. And so I don't like this automatic second guessing and judging and all that.
And
especially
that's why
when I've seen so many body cams, bro.
Bro, that's why they should train the police on how to deal with people. A lot of times the police, a lot of the body cam shit that I see, bro, the police need mental evaluation. Cause sometimes they escalate the shit to a level that it don't even need to be. Some of
I
them need
see.
um psych evaluation. But all I'm saying, right? If the police was better equipped when it comes to dealing with mentally challenged
What does
people,
that mean, DJ? Because that's just like a blank statement. You want essentially
bro.
cops to act as a type of therapist. What do you really mean when you say that? It's like a word that has no practical bearing in
No,
reality.
but let me answer you. Let me give you the let me give you the practicality, bro. When I was working with special needs people, I'm not certified to do shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a caregiver. It's just so happened that the people I work with was high functioning. But every couple months they give you training. The training is like literally all of us on this panel could do the training. While how long we've been up here? We could have been done a couple of the courses already. It teach you how to de-escalate shit. You know what I'm saying? It teach you how to recognize what kind of behaviors you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? That would give the police, that would equip the police better with dealing with people, bro. A lot of times they come in crazy, slamming people down. They didn't even know that this person is mentally challenged. Like they can't help how they moving. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. Some people is high functioning and they probably deserve what they get. You know what I mean? They probably know better, but everybody don't know that shit. And the police just gotta have like a little. It's not even a crazy course, bro. That shit don't even take that much time to do, bro. You just watch a couple of videos and answer a
Are you
couple of.
hearing yourself? It's so simple. All they have to do is take this 45-minute course, and they wouldn't have to shoot a
It's not,
crazy person who's on a rampage. Do you hear
bro.
yourself, bro? This is
That's bro.
liberalism
Come
gone
on, bro.
retarded.
You
We're
you
being so
literally
liberal,
trying to
we'd rather
you're trying
die.
to generalize what I'm saying, bro. All they
No, I'm
gotta
I'm
do
putting a
a lot.
practical spin on what you're saying. The practical reality is if you take this 45-minute course, somehow you're going to be totally capable of handling a crazy
I
person to the
never say
point
you're
that you
gonna be
never need to
totally
pull your
capable. Wait a
gun.
minute.
It's
I'm
no,
never
it's
saying
ridiculousness,
I'm
man.
not saying you're gonna be totally capable. People do CPR tests and they're not 100% capable of saving somebody's life. I'm saying it's gonna better equip you when it comes to dealing with people like that. I'm not saying it's gonna just solve everything. Like what nothing the cops learned so far completely solves not everything. Like, name me one thing that the police learn that completely solves everything.
There,
It
there,
don't
there
work
is
like that.
no there's
It
no
just
real
very
official. There's no way you can have an official training method to dealing with the mentally unstable. It is inherently impossible to categorize. So
I hear
therefore,
you.
you take whatever soft approach you can. But ultimately, if he's a danger, I'm shooting him. And I might have to shoot you too if you don't get out my goddamn face about it. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you people. Why do you keep playing these games like a real life person is supposed to just put himself in infinite danger
Bro, when
because it
you
makes your feelings feel better because you feel like a good person that he didn't do what you want him to do or
bro, you
whatever it
but
is. Like,
bro,
it's crazy.
shooting, bro, taking a life and shooting somebody, bro.
Can I
That
just share?
shit is not some reversible shit. Go
Can
ahead, go ahead.
I share so I'll give you an example. So being in a therapy session with someone who's, maybe schizophrenic and they're responding to internal stimuli or external stimuli, whatever it may be. Once that door closes and they're on the other side with me, there's nothing I can do. There's no security. There's I don't it's I feel like that I don't like the fact that everything is being pushed towards it's just mental health. No, number one, some people are just wicked, but there's also different levels of care. So a person who is elevated or escalated or whatever it may be may need inpatient psychiatry versus they're getting into it with the police and now they end up with a record and in jail. They need the right level of care. And we don't really have, well, I don't know where you guys are from, but we don't really have many inpatient facilities or, well, not a lot of long-term ones. And some people really do need long-term placement.
Yeah, and I'm not saying better equipping them is gonna solve every situation, but it been a couple of shits I seen on body cam footages where the cops overreacted and it turns out that they could have literally is literal way is ways that you could de-escalate shit or even if it's in a physical situation because they teach us how to like disarm like disarm a mentally challenged person or like, you know, like just physical ways that you could deal with them without like harming them, you know what I'm saying? Because
Hold on.
you
How does
can't
this
like
work,
just
DJ?
wait a minute, bro. Let me finish. You can't just beat them up, because a lot of them just don't be in their right state of mind, but you still want to get them under control. So it's different levels. You don't just go from 0 to 100. Sure, if somebody got a firearm or something, of course you're gonna gotta handle that shit differently. But I watched hella body cam footage when the police was wilding, and they could have literally went through some sort of better training. And as a matter of fact, they always blame it on training. Every time this shit happen, they literally blame this shit on training when they could have training and dealing with mental patients and shit like that.
But
Yeah,
there's
but you want the cops to be
I
essentially orderlies in a psychiatric ward. No, that's not how it works, bro. That's why you go to the hospital, so they can treat you with softness and kid gloves. When you're in the real world, somebody might hurt you for being a big, crazy, dangerous nigga. There's no other
Bro,
way around that.
so how much mental patients done wander off and escape from the caretakers and shit like that, and the police had to deal with them? I literally had to deal with somebody that the cops beat him up, bro. They didn't even know
Okay,
he was mentally challenged because he
okay,
wandered
but
off. He got away.
okay, fine. Should I now reorganize the entire concept of justice because of a crazy nigga?
That shit is wild, bro.
Yeah, you see, you just shut your brain off. Come on, don't shut it back on and deal with that. Do we
Nah, I'm not
reorder
shutting
the
my brain
concept of
off.
justice?
Your
Do
brain
we
is already
reorder justice?
programmed. Your
Do
brain
we
is already
reorder the
programmed, and
concept of justice
you
because some
running on the
people are
pro
mentally
you
unstable?
running hood. You running on your program already. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's
I'm
not you
trying to
just
use logic to the point where logic fails me, and it hasn't failed me yet. And so I'm
hmm.
asking you guys, what is the logic behind it other than it makes me feel good? Because you're basically throwing away the concept of justice because a nigga might be mentally unstable. How about this? Most of the criminals probably are mentally unstable.
I don't know about that
Then you
shit.
didn't want to think about that, did you? I bet you there's a guarantee. I bet you there's a concrete link between severe criminal behavior and mental issues.
You see,
It's
now you
almost
saying
impossible for it
severe.
to be
You see, the
otherwise.
thing about hood, bro. Hood think he's slick. Now you saying severe.
I
Bro,
am. I'm
you're
not
trying to
talking about
make it
regular
extreme.
people who sell dope.
Of course, severe criminality might a lot of times gonna lead to some sort of mental instability or something.
Okay,
Because you
for
see
for
severe,
example, for
but
example, the guy in
the
Chicago,
average criminal don't got severe mental issues, bro.
the guy in Chicago who just say he's going around punching chicks in the face, bro. Put him down and keep him down, because you'll never fix that. Whatever
Yeah,
that is, you're not gonna fix that.
go
guys
ahead.
for having this conversation.
All right, no doubt, no doubt.
Okay, if I can tune in.
Oh, you say if you could tune. Oh, you at work. Don't get fired. Don't get fired. You know what
Oh
I
no,
mean?
no. Goodness, it's just busy around here. You have no idea.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. That shows so the peace of my mind. All right. Go ahead, Hood. Go ahead and mislead the people, leading the people astray, bro. All I'm saying, like, Hood is too much of an extremist. All I'm saying is like the cops could take these tests like once a month, not even a 45-minute test. You know what I'm saying? A short test, teach you how to better equip you on how to deal with people. You know what I'm saying? The man is talking about life and death. All these situations is not life or death. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit is crazy. Hood is
I
normal.
hear
That
I hear
yeah.
feelings, bro. I hear so many feelings, and the world doesn't run on what makes us feel good. The world runs on what practically solves our problems. And I hate to point it
It's
out
not
to you,
about
but
feeling good. It's not about feel good, bro. It's
it is.
literally
You're literally doing a feel good on me right now, and I don't respond well to feel goodery.
this man said all he hear is feel good. Like, bro, you gotta expand your thinking, bro. I think you've been in this space a little too long, bro.
That now it's shaming language. Now I'm what is it? I'm closed minded. These are shaming terms. I'm giving out actual problematic realities, and I'm being met with shame. Bad form, brother.
Also, the
Bad
candy
form.
cane. She said, I work with high function and low functioning too. Never had to put my hands on none of them. We learned de-escalation. Why can't the cops? This is what I'm saying. And it's not even no crazy type of lessons that you gotta learn. It's like literally a shard ass class type shit. You know what I mean? With some
Because the real
practical shit.
world is not your therapeutic mental institution. You don't have the outside does not have padded walls. You only get padded walls inside. If you want to be treated with padded walls, remain inside, brother.
If we're gonna always give the police the benefit of the doubt, they gotta have the right training.
I mean, I'm not even arguing you give police the benefit of the doubt. I accept that there are cops who go too far and maybe abuse their power. I'm not arguing that whatsoever. I'm just saying that this whole conversation started out with the idea of putting in a social worker with a cop, or now you say the solution is to train cops as social workers, and I say
Not
no.
as
There is a third
not as
option.
social workers, not as social workers, but the few things that the social worker will be able to add, you don't need a whole not a human in there. You literally just need like a quick 45-minute class to learn what you gotta do and just be updated on this shit. Instead of putting a whole human that is not true. So you want to put the social worker through police training? Because they had to see an issue that they was trying to remedy to even suggest peering social workers with the
But how
police.
was your solution not what I just said, putting the police through social worker training? I mean, it's the same retarded problem coming
No,
from
it's
a
not.
different angle,
No, I'm
though.
not. Look, bro, you making everything I'm saying extreme. Not putting them through the full social worker training, but certain aspects of it, it will be helpful if they know that shit, bro.
No, I'm not trying to make it extreme. I'm trying to meet it exactly on those terms. Like the body of knowledge that you want the police to operate with would come from social worker training. And so we're combining
Bro,
the same
there's
thing. And I'm
nothing
saying
wrong
either
with
way,
that. Is not,
it's not
bro.
useful.
Is nothing wrong with it. You're trying to insinuate that I'm saying put the police through a full social working training like a social worker. I'm just saying they should
No,
know certain de-escalation tactics when dealing with special needs people. They should know how to identify certain shit when dealing with them people. If we're gonna always give the police the benefit of the doubt, why not get them? Why not equip them with the right knowledge so we could feel more comfortable giving them the benefit of the doubt because they should know what they're doing. You know what I mean?
right, knowledge is so incredibly subjective in this area. Like it's mental instability. There's almost no objective right, and that's why this is such a really squishy problem. And this is why I err more on the side of you follow the authority, because if you're mentally unstable, it's hard for me to understand you. And so, because you're hard to understand, you become a danger. And now that you're a danger, the list of operations of how we handle you get very, very short. And we don't
Bro,
have
you
time to
assuming
go out
perfect.
every childhood
Bro,
trauma with every
wait a
crazy
minute,
person,
bro.
bro.
You assuming perfect scenarios all the time, bro. There's
No, there is
literally
no perfect scenario ever. There's no such thing. That's my point. And you're talking
to
as if the
be
45-minute
better.
class can make a perfect scenario. It's not.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it could minimize. It could minimize the fucked up scenarios. I'm not saying it's gonna make the policing perfect. Like nothing that the police know right now is not making them police perfect. So why is this gonna be something different that's gonna make them all of a sudden police perfect? They ain't policing perfect right now with all the shit that they know.
No,
You know
I'm
what I'm
arguing
saying?
it'll make them worse. You see RoboCop 2?
How
You
would
ever
it
see
make them? This
Let me
is
explain to you. Let me explain to you. In RoboCop 2, right? They did this thing where they gave RoboCop a DEI programming upgrade. I swear to God, this is like 1990 whatever when RoboCop 2 came out, but they gave him a DEI program upgrade. And
mm,
eventually RoboCop electrocuted himself to wipe that old bullshit programming out because the DEI programming was making his policing impossible. And that's what I'm afraid of. You guys are trying to RoboCop 2 the police department until they just can't be police no more. And we already have that problem.
Hey, hood conservative, not necessarily, right? So check this out. Over the years, you've seen just different things implemented in the, policing, like body cameras. Now all cops are equipped with tasers, you know what I'm saying, rather than just live ammunition and pepper spray. Because of that, you know what I'm saying, fatalities when cops are working fatalities and just firing their weapons,
mm.
it's gone down. just naturally. It's gone down because they've been able to put a little bit of voltage in there. So what Doc is saying, if you equip them with another tool, which is just some knowledge about how to recognize somebody that's mentally ill, rather than, you know what I'm saying, how to recognize them and separate them from just a disorderly criminal or something, it'll give them tools to do their job a little bit better. And it doesn't
That is
mean that you have to
false question.
totally change the way
And it's
that they
something that's
police.
constantly improving. They're gonna constantly add and take out stuff because society is something that's growing. You know what I'm saying? So of course you're gonna add and take out stuff depending on what makes sense. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that shit will better equip them and it will minimize
So,
the bullshit when
This,
dealing
so,
with mentally challenged
this,
people. You know what I mean?
this
so
sounds
I
early,
just
early. Go ahead.
so they do actually have something like that already that
Okay.
they've been implementing and stuff like that. If you go to your city council meetings and things like that, or just pay attention to like the new updates that they're doing with your local law enforcement, they got this thing called CIT, which is Crisis Intervention Team
Mm.
training and stuff like that. And that's what they train for. They train for mental health situations. And then you actually have to get certified in it. It's an actual class that you go through a whole all law enforcement will eventually be going through these particular classes. And they actually doing them. And a lot of places are requiring for their departments to actually have those things. So
Okay.
something's out already on what you guys are speaking on, and maybe that's also why a lot of conflict with the mental health section has went down.
I
Right.
see.
I was just gonna say though, man, that Witchhacker for me, I've got a special card though. I got a special emergency service card. So when I phone the police, I give them a PIN number, right? A special PIN number. Oh, I do with this. When I give them that PIN, it lets them about what I have though, right? And then they know how to deal with that situation because they were trained to do so. So what you're saying, you're right though, but I agree with you. So yeah, I got a special card to help me. So
Mm.
if I have trouble basically, phoning them normally, or if they have trouble understanding, I just give them the pin and they'll understand how to do it.
So you got a card to let the cops know that you special needs?
Yep.
But at the
Okay.
same time, keep in mind he's not in the U.S. and other
Mm.
countries, like of course where he is. I think
Mm.
he's in the UK. They've implemented a lot of things to keep cops from using deadly force. The same thing is going on in some Asian countries. I think in Japan, whatever. They said the cops as a whole in the whole damn country fired like 15 bullets last year.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what's up because
Fired
a
like
lot of I
15.
heard a lot of the cops up there don't even have firearms. There's only
Yeah.
certain department got firearms.
Yeah,
Correct.
I
And,
think
and
that's
and they're all
probably
trained in just what you're talking about.
right. I think it's probably in the UK. I think it's probably the SWAT team that's got the firearms. The normal police though don't have them firearms.
And it does say UK crime is significantly lower than US.
Yeah.
Don't
That
forget
that
they don't have
varies.
guns.
Wait,
I don't think they have the
Yeah,
capability
I
of
don't
having
even.
no,
guns
but
in
it's
the
They
not
got
UK.
like
just
cattle progs, bro.
It's not like here.
Yeah, no,
Mm.
they got
no. I
like
know,
cattle
but I
prods or
think
something,
no. I
bro.
think it varies too, though. Actually, because
Like
in the
their law
South, when
enforcement walk around with like knife sticks and stuff like that.
Right,
yeah,
right.
wait, but I was just saying when you go down
But
south, you see,
they have more knife crimes than we have though, probably.
yeah, that is
It
true,
says
though.
auto theft rates are higher in comparison to the US. Burglary is higher. Um
Wait, but actually, check the South though.
but it
Basically,
says
if you go down,
homicides in the US is higher and overall like violent crimes is higher.
okay, that makes sense. But I'm also saying if you go down south, you'll see more of the higher crime. Like when you go to Brixton or Peckham and stuff like that, them areas though have a higher crime rate though, basically. So when you go to the south though of the UK, you'll see more of that. Not there's some sections though, because literally you
But
don't
yeah, I do
basically.
think like I do think stuff like that because I'm pretty sure let me look it up because I did see I want to see if CIT training has CIT and shown positive result. Our CIT training has proven positive results, right? Particularly in improving officers' knowledge, attitude, and confidence when responding to mental health crises. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give me some metrics for those. That's gay poetry. That's the metrics. At least something based on numbers and real world events. It's easy
Let
to
me
get
see.
distracted by
Let me
gay
see.
poetry, bro. We all got raised on gay poetry. That's why most of us can't think right.
This motherfucker right here, man.
Well,
Let me
yeah,
see.
but yeah, I kind of feel you on that though, to be honest. So yeah, you have a point though. That's probably like, when you go to some areas in the South, it's like a full no-go zone area. They literally tell you not to go there. But yeah, that's pretty much everywhere though. So I kind of get you on that though. I know I'm in a different place here, in a different place. It's kind of different over there than it's here. But I get you on that.
Let me see. Percentages. It says in some places the arrest rate dropped to less than 15% for mental health crisis call. For mental health crisis call, right? But this chat GPT, let me see if I could get the source article.
So
But I would
we're
assume,
arresting
but I would
black
only
people.
assume
Okay.
that, like, I would just only assume without even looking that shit up. That's where you're gonna see the positive results. You know what I mean?
But
Mm-hmm.
you can only assume, you can't verify, and that's how they get you. And this is we're probably talking about millions and millions of dollars in tax money being spent on programs that we can't verify the efficacy of, right? There was a scholar, Roland Fry, he was a Harvard professor actually, and he did a study about police shootings and violence, and he was questioning whether or not police actually shot more black people. And what he found out is that while the police are more likely to be physically aggressive with black people, so pushing, slapping, even a beating or something like that, they're way less likely to actually shoot you. And so when you start to dig into these numbers, you reveal a truth that doesn't really play well for the news media, bro.
I believe 15% reduction rate in mental health, situation is huge when you really look at the numbers on a large scale.
I'm looking at it and it's showing it shows in it says some percentage that it says in Memphis, right? Officers arrest only 6% of mental disturbance call by comparison to 13%, right? So
Sure.
13 so
So they're
so only 6% of the mess
That's
so
more than
they're
half.
arresting them
That's
less,
more
right?
than half.
So that means they're not arresting them as much, but does
no,
it
because they
change
know
anything
who they're
else?
dealing with, because they know they're dealing with mental patients. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you just get to be crazy and dangerous and oh yeah, that's crazy
Right.
Bob. He's all right. We're
No,
not
they
gonna
know
shoot
how to
crazy Bob.
de-escalate. No, they learn how to de-escalate the situation, bro.
The
Like a
thing
lot
is,
of
yeah,
times you're dealing with a mental person, they're not complying, and you think they're not complying because they just trying to not comply, but they probably don't even understand what you're saying, or you know what I mean? Like,
Like, can
bro,
you imagine? Can you imagine a cop going to a scene, right? And he's telling the guy to do something, and he believed the guy's ignoring him. And in reality, the guy's deaf. He really doesn't really hear what's actually going on, but he's deaf. That's why you should be aware of many different situations.
Now we're just writing comedy, brother. This is a
no,
comedy. This is
no,
Comedy
it's
Central.
making
This is a
sense.
plot from Saturday Night Live.
Nah, for real, hood though, it's making sense because it's just like having an interpreter on deck. just like you said, you can be giving somebody what you believe is a lawful order, but in actuality, they just don't
Oh,
understand. Wait a
it's
second.
like having an
Let me
interpreter.
finish.
Speak crazy for me
Yeah,
then. Speak
yeah.
crazy.
You might
Say
think
something
you're
in
giving
crazy then.
somebody a lawful order, but in actuality, they don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, that's true.
So the same can apply for somebody that's mentally unstable, mentally ill, has a special condition or whatever. So it's nice to at least be able to recognize the difference between somebody that's disobeying a lawful order and somebody that's just mentally unstable and they're not capable of even understanding what a lawful order is.
Right, right.
Exactly.
It's not like the intentions to not comply. They just don't know what's going on, bro. And if you could identify that, you could probably alter how you communicating to them. As a matter of fact, you might even learn how to communicate with them through the training.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they won't have no class that says like CIT, crisis intervention training, without them actually going thorough with it. I wonder how long that class is. It's probably longer than a couple of hours.
Now it says it's all together is 40 hours, right?
Oh,
But
okay,
it's not
okay.
like 40 hours like back to back 40 hours. It's like all the training. Like maybe every week you log in and do a couple, you know what I'm saying? The training don't.
See if it has like an actual thing where you do it on a computer, or you gotta like literally physically be in the class.
Let me see.
That makes all the difference in the world.
Okay, it's 40 hours long and is usually completed in 1 week.
I could imagine that's have to be something you have to do in person, because anybody could just turn the computer on and let it roll versus
Now,
you
of course, it's
actually.
probably it's probably a hybrid, or it probably you go in there and you because you still gotta watch the modules and stuff, right? So you probably, but I'm pretty sure you can't do no training like this without going in person. Even when I had to do training, I had to go in there in person and they had to demonstrate how to deal with these people physically. You know what I'm saying? And we literally had everybody had a chance to demonstrate to show that they know what to do. Because you can't just say that you know what to do and they let you work with these people. You literally got to demonstrate. Like we had to pair up with partners and shit. You know what I'm saying? And role play like you dealing with a mentally challenged person. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this
So
is something in a positive direction. Now we got something positively that's out there that's surrounding many states, hopefully everywhere pretty soon. Depending on funding, that can actually help guide people through these mental health episodes that people are going through.
and shows her the fighter, he said, I'd say out of a million of interaction with cops and citizens, I'd say 95% don't get hurt. Cops don't get a gun and a badge and get hired. I mean, I don't think so either. I don't think like the majority of the interactions with the police, shit, my majority of the interactions with me and the police ain't turn out with the police beating me up or no shit like that. As a matter of fact, I never got my ass whooped by the police. You know what I'm saying? So, I probably got searched a little bit rough, but that's for the most part. So I don't think the majority of interaction with the
I've been
cops turn out to be some shit like that.
I've been arrested a bunch of times. It's almost never bad, bro. Like I've never had like a bad interaction where like they beat me up or did something crazy. But at the same time, once some cuffs come on, I'm just waiting for my phone call, bro. I'm not even gonna play with you niggas. I'll be out of here tomorrow. Other niggas though, people get in them cuffs and they turn into a whole other animal.
And I
I think the
appreciate you.
places.
Somebody said Tanks J is the name of the channel. I don't know. Show so the fighter appreciate you for the super. You got it you got it, Manosphere.
No, you'll be surprised though. Like for me, I think when you don't have experience with dealing with a rough population, not saying black, not saying white, just a rough population, area that's known for being rough. I think if you lack that experience, that's when you fall into these situations where you don't handle your badge the way you should. If you're in a place where you barely have crime, you're not used to dealing with those high stressful situations. But if you're assigned to an area where crime happens all the time, you gain a lot of experience on dealing with particular situations and a lot of comfortability. That way you don't be so jumpy when it's time to pull your weapon.
Mm. So what y'all got going on for the rest of the day? Cause I ain't even gonna hold you. I didn't even plan to doing a long stream.
I'm just gonna chill though, not much. I'm just gonna chill out, man. It's a good stream, though. Thanks for having me up, though. For the bit that I could contribute to the convo, to be honest. I appreciate that. I'm probably just gonna drop right now. Appreciate
I
that.
know
For
that.
me, for me, I'm probably gonna hit the pool, swim a couple of laps, probably hit the put some stuff in the smoker, and just hang out and probably drink till I pass out.
So wait a minute, you don't let me that shit is that nigga Monday. This nigga having a Monday weekend. You know what I'm saying? But let me ask you this, man. It's fair. You retired or you still be working and shit?
No, I'll still be working.
Okay, this nigga was a CIA agent. What you got on it, man?
Nah, bro. Thanks for reminding me, man. It's fair, bro. I got a case of the Mondays, dog, and I got to get back to this Monday morning shit, bro. I can't stand it. But we get through it, and then it won't be Monday no more. So it's all good.
Right.
That's what I got planned for the rest of the day. Work.
What about Hood Servative? Hood Servative, take us away, because I think we still tune in to. Let me see. You still stream? Yeah, Hood Servative is still streaming. What you got going on, DJ?
Oh, I'm like 5 minutes from punching out. Then I'm gonna go home and start up a whole show. I told you I was talking about the whole the logic being anti-black, and then we're gonna touch back on African
Oh,
time
that's
and
the topic. That's the
What's your
topic.
channel, Hood Conservative? I don't even know your channel.
the Hood Conservatives.
The
Just
Hood
type in the Hood
Servative.
Conservatives. I should pop up easily.
Yeah, I'm about to I'm most likely I'll come through over there. You know what I'm saying?
I
I'll
got a
be over there
question,
on Hood
Hood.
channel.
Am I safe to come over there? Because I'm unfiltered. I may derail your show.
You can come. I mean, I tend to not have a hostile audience. You know what I mean? You can say some crazy shit. We gonna have jokes, but we're not gonna come at you crazy. I'm not gonna come at you next. Here's my thing though. If you believe something crazy, I'm gonna ask you about it. You're gonna have to explain it, but I'm not gonna be hostile towards you.
I ain't never been shy from explaining anything.
No, I think
My
Manosphere do
man.
good on I think Manosphere do good on Hood channel. That shit is pretty chill over there.
Nah, we just like honestly, we just don't believe a lot of the casual beliefs of Black America. So we're gonna challenge a lot of that shit.
Everybody who be on Hood channel don't even agree with the same shit. You know what I mean?
That is true. That is true. Every now and then, my audience tell me I'm crazy.
Reese said, "What you got going on, DJ? I'm about to just get some work done. I got some graphics and shit to finish off, and shit, I might go live later. I ain't sure as yet. I might go live. That's why I went this early, just in case. But we need to get on up out of here. We're gonna let Keels take y'all away. Let me see. What we got? Yeah, we got Keels in this motherfucker, right? Let me turn this shit up.